Everybody so excited. I just love the beautiful fall colors, and it's all like red and orange and yellow. So very excited. And so we're going to have a really healing session today. We wanted to really bring out the love in every moment, just reminding people healing and the process of healing, the process of letting go, the process of allowing yourself to experience new realms of the dimensional bandwidth. It's always going to be a greater expression of love. You're going to be asked to express yourself in greater ways, to explore greater aspects of love, to explore yourself in love, as love, expressing yourself as love. We are here essentially to remember ourselves as love. We are here to remember the planet as love, the body of love that she is, that she offers, how she offers us food, how she offers us to continually adapt with her as she adapts with us. The process of evolution and the process of what humanity moves through is so utterly beyond explanation. If you could take any one snapshot of one section of Earth that is moving through its transition, and the people that are on that specific aspect, the topography in and of itself changes within the consciousness as we change. Just as if your body changes, the skin changes, the bones change as you raise your consciousness. Everything that is physical matter changes with the love matter, with the spirit matter. And as we said, there's always that infinity. So there is the dark, there is the neutral, and then there is the light. It's all one encompassing. You have the scope that you can purvey any one moment, how you perceive any one thing. If you can be through that divine relationship and know that it's all there and all relevant, it's all still a part of God. How any aspect of itself perceives itself is based on its own dimension of bandwidth it sits within, meaning its understandability it has within itself of itself. That's why we said in our post this morning, those that play with dark magic and conjuring entities and entities, those that don't do the healing, and all of the experiences that you can choose to be an aspect of the infinite source will depend on your level of openness that you have to take in information, to take in greater light, to take in greater wisdoms. If you're blocking yourself off from that by staying stuck within a certain cycle of experience, a certain cycle of knowing, not allowing yourself to expand, not allowing yourself to break free, all of those have consequences to your consciousness. So how are you allowing yourself to flow within the fields of all that you are? Your fields, if they're blocked in any certain way, are going to either call in darkness, because if you're manifesting yourself from a place of darkness, if you within your vibration is holding a lot of negativity and darkness, your fields are going to attract that darkness. Your fields are going to attract that. So if you're conjuring those dark and negative entities, if you're conjuring and you're working with black magic and all those kinds of things, you're actually calling in what is not natural to the body in and of itself, to the cells in and of itself. And you're actually going to, especially if it's entities, because those entities want to, they end up taking over that matter space, if you will. So that becomes that dark matter experience, and it becomes disassociated what its natural, normal wanting of itself to be. The body in and of itself wants to be healthy. The body in and of itself, your cells and your organs and your mind and your brain and all that you are becoming as a beautiful essence of love and light, it wants to be guided in love and health and wellness. Your body will take care of itself very rapidly as you're aligning yourself to love and peace and greatness and alignment of grandeur of all that you are. So your body is always looking for you to guide it. Your cells, your muscles, all that you are as a multidimensional being is always looking for you as that commandment. Who are you? So why we said every day it's good to get up every day and set those intentions for who are you within the greater good. Who are you operating within the greater good, your alignment within the greater good, knowing that you have a story to tell and to say, and to know that your story is worthy of being shared. Your story is worthy of being owned and operated by you. Your story can't be manipulated by anybody else. And as you're going through these various aspects and these rungs of ascension, you will be tested in every level to stand in your truth, to know that your story is your story, and that's your sacred experience with God. That's the story that is always shifting and changing within the Akash. And only you are the one that can call it in to be harmonized and healed. You're calling your aspects of reconciliation, which is what Ascension really is. It's your reconciliation, the God returning itself back to God, We wanted to go as far out in separation from Source Creator to see how we're manifesting ourselves back to the Creator. So that's part of reconciliation. That reconciliation is calling itself back to be faced and to be honored and to be accepted and to be reconciled. You know, what did I see in this experience to be reconciled within myself? What beliefs was I sitting within to reconcile within myself that now I can choose new beliefs? So there's always that part of reconciliation that is very needed when you're going through ascension. When you have a tower moment, you want to reconcile, why did I have that tower moment? What did I need? What was I missing within inside myself? What was I not seeing within inside myself? How can I move forward in a better and more vibrant way? Because you want to be self-owning of yourself. You want to be self-declaring of yourself. You want to be all that you are as this, you know, voluptuous, vibrant being of light, which you're meant to be, so God can open and continue the honoring of the blessing that you are as God. You're shifting in a new vibration of God. Even in your lack of belief of yourself of God, that God part of you never leaves. You're that disownership of yourself, that denial or that resistance of yourself as being God. Say those that are atheists, that doesn't change God not being in their body. That doesn't change God not being in their soul. Everybody that is an atheist still has a God spark within them. That never leaves them. They just chose in that body to be an experience of not believing in God. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that God's not there. God's always there. God's always here. God's in every breath. God's in all things. Source is in all things. Source is the elixir of all life. And so how you manifest your vessel with that knowing of God being all things, that's how you manifest the life that is all miraculous and all majesties, because you're the one that gets to discern how that life operates for you. The more open and flowing you are to accept God, to know that God is the harmonization of all things that is God, that's going to be your experience. And so you're the purveyor of that hope, that promise that God is living through you, and that is absolute the miracles and the experiences that I've had. Everything that I'm able to hear, to see, and to dissect, and to ponder over, they're all very gracious aspects of God wanting me to experience God, because I love life. The more that I love life and the more that I engage with the small things, I love watching the small things that are all life. You know, sitting at the ocean and just watching the waves, sitting and just watching a tree and the leaves fall. All of those things allow me to engage with God in different ways, because I love watching life and experiencing life. And so you're the one that gets to perceive. The more negativity you find with life, again, you're going to be attracting more negative of life that is. Because we're being bathed with so much purified and rarefied light, and it's going to continue this coming year, so we've got just a few tips to look for. As we're being bathed with more rarefied light, those darker aspects that you've been suppressing and holding deep within yourself, of aspects or beliefs that you were, the projections you've taken on from those around you, if you have a lot of people that are negative around you and they're projecting their lack of self and their negativity on you, you end up taking those on, especially if you're not clearing and looking after your fields. You might even think that you're negative, but you're really not. You're just taking on a lot of people's negative beliefs. So again, it's to discerning. When you know who you are, when you work within who you are, when you do a lot of clearing and you start reducing who you're hanging out with, what you're going to be taking in and taking on, you then start to know, no, that's not my belief, that's yours. And you can then send it back and release all those burdens. Doing your daily clearing is important for you to know who you are. And that is so important in how we teach and what we teach, so that you're not going to be thwarted or thrown or swayed, or you're not going to take on any of the negative impalings that others might have you when you're going through those times of testing on who you are as light and who you are as the unifier of yourself as source. Because every new rung of bandwidth, you're going to be tested within those soul experiences. Who are you now? And so that's why, who are you, what do you exist within, and what exists within you? You have to be asked those 3 questions constantly on your path of ascension, because you're constantly expanding and contracting, up and up and up and out and up and out and up and out. So every moment you're going to be a new version of you. You're going to be, no, that's who I was yesterday, but now I'm adding on to it. Now I'm going to expand. You have to reconcile those aspects that you were and you weren't, because you're all one. So again, you'll get releasing of that us versus them, and you'll understand that those that do spell work and things like that, you'll understand that when they do those things, they're in a complete lack of self, and that's a version of them disregarding and denying of themselves. And so they want to change the outer reality to face their inner feelings. And so that's when they do spell work to kind of make their reality fit into their inner world. And that is just the delusion of the self. That's the non-acceptance of the self, the lack of self, the no design of self. So those are all very valid. So we're going to be rewriting the entire world of psychiatric experiencing who we are. There's those that we'll see in our lives that will choose ascension or not choose ascension. In their hearts, they can choose their soul's path of oneness or not oneness and fight against it as long as possible. But those that choose to resist it will go through a very bumpy ride, and you'll end up experiencing it. It's something we've all chosen to experience. It's not going to be, fun and delightful. But as long as you're taking ownership of who you are and you're maintaining that sense of center for yourself, every time we take a new step up into light, you'll be able to continue to call yourself back and return to self and ground who you are, and then start defining yourself and designing yourself in a new sense of light. That's all you need to know as far as your daily practices and upkeeping, because you're going to see those around you that aren't going to have a good time because they haven't been able to do enough clearing. It's not that it's not impossible, but they will experience very profound experiences of psychosis and delusion. Because their mind, their brain, their 3D mind and brain will only allow itself to remember to the point of what it has transmuted. So if it refuses to transmute, the accepting of itself as God, the accepting of itself as the Christ energy, means that you can transmute and alchemize anything that is density. And that is what the crucifixion of the Christ showed us and taught us, meaning that he is eternal light, his body is eternal. His energy of pure unconditional love of showing us that we are multidimensional beings. Who are you? What you exist in? What exists in you? That was the whole story of the Christ. And then his crucifixion was the discrimination of his expression, exploration, experience of the Christ was not accepted in the world that he was brought to help heal. And so we're going through a very similar cycle now. And now everybody gets to choose for themselves, where do you put your energy? Where do you place your energy? Where do you direct your energy? And if it's going to be in dark and negative and toxic, things where you're conjuring entities to force people in your reality or not accepting others' stories, then that's a denial, because you're saying that your way is, you can't force people to be in your story. It's right use of free will and non-interference. You're interfering with another person by doing spell work and all of those things that people do. The stuff that's in the underground has been a complete realm of forced wounding. The underground is the wounding in action. And there's going to be a lot of people that will choose to heal themselves through that process and help others and be an advocate of that. Because it's great. It's a great opportunity for all to come together and look at what we've manifested. And it has to be faced. The underground has to be faced. The corrupt leaders have to be faced. They have to face themselves. Their deeds and their choices will have to be faced. Nobody will get by without going through. They can't switch their destiny. They can't call it off, and they can't think that they're going to continue doing intimidation tactics and stalking the innocent and stalking the light workers that are speaking about it. The light will continue, and there will be continuing more and more light workers and more people awaken and more people bringing truth. So those tactics of what was before of intimidation and bullying and brawling the light workers to the ground and slowly tapping those off when they're speaking truth is not going to work. The planet will be bathed in light, and there'll be great changes over the next 3 to 6 months. Because the stories have to be faced. The collective is ready now. The collective is tired of living within illusions of ill health. They're tired of living in delusions and illusions of leaders that are not connected and not aligned with their higher selves, leading the collective in more and more programs of confusion and more programs of red tape and more programs where the monies aren't going where the money should be going. And Spirit is calling this out directly. Everything that you see that's manifesting on the world is Spirit, God, the programs, and the consciousness of the human collective, all working as a whole. And every day, light being bathed, darkness is being transmuted, things that are being processed through the dream time and through our own personal desire to heal and have healthy bodies and have healthy minds. We're allowing all of that collective culmination of light to continue to build into higher integrity and morals. And that is the shifting and the transmutation of the rewiring that's being done in the prefrontal cortex, which is all about our beliefs and our aspects of who we think we are and the morals within ourselves that we hold ourselves within. What is valuable to us? What is morally okay for us? The more that you awaken, the more that you align to your God self, you're going to see life become so sacred, and you would never ever cause harm to another. And when you are calling things out, it's because God says it's time. This person's been given more than enough warnings. They've been given, millions of chances to do so in a very roundabout, cautious, very graceful way. And it's only those that are really creating those great towers are the ones that have refused their calling with Source. Because Source has given them opportunities to face their choices that have been in malevolence and to do so with grace. And they've chosen not to take those. And they've chosen the arrogance against God and Source Creator. And so Spirit says, okay, if you keep complaining, if you want to keep playing this game of, who's going to win, who's not going to win, God is the ultimate purveyor of all life. God creates galaxies and universes. If you go and look at any galaxy that's being created in any moment, that's the workings of God within a breath. That's nothing to God. A universe being created. Okay, here we go. And it's the multiverse working in and of itself of the intelligent design within the grander designs of the micro macro feeding of that escalating top down, top up experience. And we all have access to the top up, right? If you don't have an up, you won't have a below. And that what is as above, so below, and is within, so without. You're manifesting all of it. And so to just not take accountability and not take ownership of it, that's what Ascension is showing you. No, I'm going to start taking ownership. This life is mine. I'm going to have great hope. I'm going to have great promise. You can step out of that fear-mongering place that we can choose to sit in, and we all choose to do it because it's a part of being the reality of 3D. But you got to step outside of that because those are just programs you're meant to transcend. You're meant to transcend every program that you've been given. You're meant to transcend everything that you saw your parents do and think that that was okay or think that that was the way things were done. No, you're here to create a new version of Earth. You're here to create a whole new version of you in the story of you, in the alignment of you, in the love of you, in the kindness of you, in the goodness of you. Your manifestation is you with God and you in the love of God. You're here to express, explore, and experience yourself as love. That is the return of you as the Christ body. And the Christ body has nothing to do with religion, never did, never will. It's about who you are as an eternal being of light. And you are matter, and that matter is also filled with light, God consciousness. God consciousness is in the surrounding of your cells. There's a film that goes around your cells that has God consciousness. And then when you start working with your multidimensional bodies and fields, and you start commending yourself as God, you start working as, yes, I'm light. You start working as, yes, God, let's do this. I can manifest a healing to that organ. I can manifest a healing to this, to that. Because you're knowing that you're connecting with the God conscious because you're God consciousness. Remember, love begets love and light begets light. God consciousness begets God consciousness. It never goes away. It's always there. But if you're not entraining it, it will stay in the same stupor, the same cycles that you've told it to be in, that you've just practiced it and trained it to be in. And that's why, again, if you're around negative people, negative environments, people that do spell work, all that kind of stuff, you're taking on that energy. And I had to leave those environments just to see how much fuckery was really going on, how much that played on my energy. So it's very important for those of you that are empaths and healers. God will be calling you in spirit, and your guides and your teams will be calling you deeper and deeper into your initiation with self. As you go deeper into the initiation with self, you go up and out into the initiation of your collective Christ consciousness. Your collective Christ consciousness is the amount of light and love and codes that you carry to affect a greater collective. Because your body is, your fields and your body have been cleared enough that you can carry codes that can offer and help and assist a greater collective. So if you're not clearing any of the energies out, your body and the oscillation of you and the processing, if you can't process higher codes of light, you can't explain the complex things that those codes will offer. And again, that's why I've said anybody that says they're copying my stuff and all they're doing is just copying, they don't have the higher self integration. If you're not integrated with your higher self, you won't understand or process or integrate what your higher self is showing you and downloading to you. You get things downloaded in your field every time you're connecting with your guides or your teams. And if you're connecting with your celestials and your ETs, they're putting downloads in your fields, but it's up to you to unpack it. Again, that's your right use of free will. There's always everything offered to you. Is it your right use of free will? Are you using what God has given you? If you're not using what God has given you, or if you're abusing what God has given you, which is a lot of the leaders, why they're having to be pulled out right now, and they're all being given that time of, they've all been given time to alter course. So now it's going to be time of, you're going to be seeing actions and the domino effect. And there will be more and more whistleblowers. There'll be more and more of the thread being pulled so that that tower must fall. Like that Jenga, the Jenga set, and that one little block is kind of holding up that tower. Though that block is going to get pulled and it has to come down. That's how we have to rebuild, because you can't have corrupt people leading collectives. You can't, not in these times. The people need those that are aligned to work and help them through and help the navigation of energies and what happens when your bodies and your fields turn on. The leaders don't know anything about ascension. They wouldn't know what to tell anybody if an entire collective awakens and their fields and their psychic field turns on. What do? They've got people walking around thinking they're all crazy and doing really crazy, incredibly, reactive things, instead of honoring their bodies and calling it in to be harmonized and then grounding into a higher version of being. But people aren't being showed these things. So again, open up my channel, share my videos. My videos should be shared with hundreds of thousands of people. It's important to know how to work with your multidimensional bodies. When your fields and your bodies turn on, when that little thing gets turned on, when your higher self and your teams have said, okay, she's ready. They've done enough clearing, they've done enough analyzing, they've done their reflection work, they've done their transmuting, they've taken ownership of their power, they've taken ownership of their voice, they're ready to start stepping out in a new arena, they're ready to start helping out and understanding their gifts as a psychic being, of a multidimensional being, as a celestial being, as an alien being. All of these are activations that God and your teams give you, and they get turned on in divine timing. When your fields get turned on, you'll be different when you wake up that day, because you'll be sensing and feeling things, and it will feel like a psychic overload. You have to know how to work with your multidimensional bodies. These are real things. And that's why those, especially those that have laughed at those that have been awakened for so very long, and they've put all of these, ridiculous, disregarding and disrespecting memes about the awakened community, they'll be the ones that will be most affected. Because that's part of their karma too. When their fields turn on, they're going to not be knowing what the fuck's going on. And they're going to be taking themselves through, their dark nights of the soul that they have to reintegrate and reconcile themselves with who they are. Again, everything that you put out is a test and a version of you returning itself back to you. Everything in creational reality is you. It's all you. You're the one that gets to see what you want to see. If you see everything as exciting, you get to see everything as a great navigational path of God. God wanting you to explore God. God wanting you to express God and experience God in the infinite ways God can be expressed. You can be expressing life itself, an experience of excitement and joy and vibrance. If you set that intention, that vibrational reality is going to show itself back to you. As opposed to what we've been coming from is an entire steeped reality of, suppressive competition, competition and getting this and getting that. And there's so much focus on everybody else outside of you that you're putting all of your energy into other people's spaces. Why? They're not you and you're not them. Let go, cut the cords, and start focusing on who you are. So again, if your day is spent on the focus of others, you're not directing your life. If you're not going above and getting your guidance about what's next for you and calling that information down and feeling and calling the light through your pineal and calling the light through your chakra systems, if you're not doing your alignment work, it will be a very tough ride for you. And that's just basic mechanics of ascension. As that dark stuff goes, your bodies and your minds and everything that you are as a multidimensional being doesn't have guidance, and you're not mentoring it. So then you have to command yourself back as one. That is the reconciliation. I realized I let go of a lot of dark stuff in my dark night of the soul, but now I'm going to take commandmentship, and now I'm going to change my beliefs. This is who I am today, and I'm going to work with that. So it's a very profound experience on how to retain and regain and reclaim your own mastery and your choice. That's why you chose to be here. There was a lot of beings that were lined up and a lot of beings that were on the wait list to be here, but they couldn't, and they weren't chosen. You were chosen because God gave you that choice to say, no, when it comes time to awaken, I'm going to choose. You get to choose for you. You get to choose the path for you. You get to know that you do have human rights and you do have spiritual rights. You have heavenly rights that always will supersede your heavenly rights. And that is the universal laws. The universal laws supersede every and all human laws, because human laws were kind of made as an after effect. And there was a whole bunch of rhetoric and red tape around those to try and meet the needs and the oligarchy, if you will, on how and why oligarchy was created and manifested right back from the earliest of times. That's going to be pulled out and falling. You cannot run an ascended planet on oligarchy. You cannot run an ascended planet with misogyny. Because as everybody ascends, we're going to be becoming more and more androgynous. Because we understand that, oh my gosh, yeah, you have to heal the divine masculine and feminine energies within you as an awakened soul. You can't run an ascended planet on hate. An ascended planet wouldn't have hate because they've transmuted it all. They understand all is one. Ascended planets wouldn't have underground sex rings because they understand the respect of everyone's body. And there's no need to sell anything because you have that ultimate life force within you. You respect everybody's bodies and the damages it does on a soul for underground sex rings. Underground enforced sex and conjuring of sex. I want to bring this up because I had a download this morning as I was doing my writing. I love the hair. I love the way my hair is colored in the light. It's so pretty. So as I was writing one of my pieces this morning, I had a download. And those that do, for those that have watched and have done this and adding to what the 3D collective is going to be healing and changing, we're going to be rewriting psychiatric and psychology. And this will also have to do with policing, because police are going to come in contact with many of these people that have done group orgies and sex orgies, Epstein Island, all of that kind of stuff. It's not comfortable to talk about, but it has to be talked about because as they're giving me information on these ways in which spirit behaves through the vessels, through the bodies. When sex orgies and things are done in group experiments and group things like that, again, most people don't understand what they're doing. Most people don't understand the energies they're conjuring. Most people don't understand the consequences and the interference that the cells in each and every person's body, the brain that it has, and the soul and the spirit that is connected to each vessel. Because remember, you have a spirit and it's connected to your vessel. Your soul is connected to your vessel. Your vessel then in those, and this is why when you put the information out there in higher education and higher wisdoms, because we are multidimensional, we have to now think of everything that we do as multidimensional and the ramifications of it. And there's been some people that have taken on that very difficult journey, and they've been the guinea pigs, if you will, to be the experiments for those of us that understand energy and the teachers and the healers of us, so that we can bring it forward and talk about it. So that we can understand as healers, psychologists, psychiatrists, policing that will be involved with a lot of these underground things that will be pulled up, how energies and entities behave when you're having those groups of sex and group orgies and all of those things that occur. Then when the people that are involved are doing it, and again, they don't know what they're doing. When they do such things in conjuring energies or deities, or they use it to call on other people's life force, they are doing very deep. They're opening portals. They're opening portals that pull. They're opening portals that pull in any energies or entities of the beings and the energy vibrations of those that they're working on, and they're doing and having the sex with and the orgies with. So any of those beings that have a portal or anything that's open, the energies, the demons, the entities, and the deities, whatever they're conjuring, doesn't matter what they're conjuring, that can come up and through the vessel, and it can begin to live in the vessel and begin to disassociate with the mind, the lower mind, the personality mind, thinks of its whole self. Because remember, the spirit and the soul are in one body, and the body in the soul. But the soul is vast. The soul, again, carries infinite aspects of itself. Infinite aspects. So if you're not doing your daily harmonization, calling in your soul fragments, understand who you are as a soul, and you're not doing the work, and you're just kind of being irresponsible and having orgies to go and conjure energies, you're calling in so much stress, energetic stress, entity stress on a system that was never ever built to do and be a part of that. Just as if you're calling hate and conjuring voodoo and all of the people that do voodoos and spell work and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter what protection spells they do it. They are calling it into their cells and into their body of spirit. They're becoming what they're conjuring. And it doesn't matter how much they're saying they're protecting. Because they're the vessel of the voice of the spirit. They're becoming one with whatever they are conjuring. And it will show itself back and it will return back. And the ones that have been not, heeding, spirit's voice as far as, are you going to follow the universal laws or not? And everybody's been given this kind of grace period, but the grace period's over now. There's no more sitting on the fence. Those group orgies, as they're doing it, there are all of these people that are conjuring and agreeing to. They don't know what they're doing. They're not educated. They're not wise. They're conjuring deities and energies and whatever the ringleader says they're going to do. They end up giving their power to these cults and these covens and these Masonic groups where they're wanting to conjure power. So they call upon deities and energies. They're giving their vessels permission to be taken over. They're giving their bodies and their vessels permission to be taken over by whatever is going on in any of those people that are involved in that group sex. If they actually knew the ramifications of what they were doing, I guarantee you none of them would have chosen to do it. Because many of them right now will be experiencing psychosis. Many of them will be experiencing psychotic breaks where they become absolutely disconnected from reality altogether. Because their vessel, their personality mind cannot keep all of the aspects of energy they've called in an orgy conjuring experience. They can't do it. The vessel is only meant to carry you. That's it. And then you're called, that's why ascension has to be done at a expanded, lengthy time. We can't be ascended overnight. Because you have infinite soul perspectives you have to reconcile with. And then those that aren't reconciling their soul, they're not reconciling the darker aspects. They're conjuring in darker entities in group orgies. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like a nightmare. It's like an energetic mess. It's like an energetic nightmare. So for an energy worker to see and know, to hear what's going on and to see what's going on in the underground and all the things that people are doing with energy and the abuse of energy, they have no idea what they're doing. And they are causing their multidimensional bodies. They're causing their brain. Many of them will have, because of the spell work they're doing, they will absolutely activate, enhance, and bring in great acceleration to dementia. Make no mistake about that. There's going to be so many multidimensional physical, spiritual, sexual ramifications to the sexual orgies and the conjuring of devils and energies and entities and whatever it is that anybody does in sexual life force transactions. Everything will be manifested. Make no mistake about that, and it will be times 10. And the underground is the whole black market of underground porn. If people actually knew what they were doing with their life force and what they were actually conjuring and calling in with intention, they would not be doing what they're doing. I mean, who wants to be sitting in the devil's hell every day as your body just rots from the inside out? Who wants that? People have conjured and called such horrible things to themselves, and they're going to be the lessons of many. Because we've been talking about this for years. You are a multidimensional being. Everything that you do, especially with your life force, is the most important thing that you have for your continuance and eternal life. Your life force is your eternal life with God. You are eternally here for as long as you like to be, and you can manifest and negotiate and you can transmute all that energy is before you. When you abuse it and when you use it so arrogantly and you're thinking, and because when people do those things, they're in wounding. Somebody that's not wounded wouldn't go and do a sex orgy. They just wouldn't, because they respect their body and they would know the ramifications of such. There's no judgment. These are facts. There's no judgment on anybody. We have to understand this, because those that come out of those sex orgies, their minds and their brains and their fields are all fucked up and messed up. And the more awakened we get and the more light that's being bathed on this planet, their fields and their psyches are going to get turned on, and it's going to be a psychotic fucking mess. For those people that do sexual orgies and chantings and all of those things where they think they're getting stuff and are earning stuff and they're manifesting stuff, You're going to manifest a whole bunch of fucked up experiences. And those that are going to be policing and doing the, understanding the outpour and the reactions, there's going to be people that are going to have to be checked in to psych wards and psych hospitals. And if you have family members that are acting like that, you need to refer them. You need to refer them because they haven't taken the heed. They haven't taken Spirit's calling to connect with people like myself, to start working with your fields, start working with your bodies. Understand that when you're calling energies or entities or conjuring things, when these sacred groups, sacred aspects of your spirit we're never meant to be like that. They're never meant to be switched and changed and exchanged and given for free. And then all of a sudden you're conjuring in a whole bucket of other entities and energies. Your vessel is meant to carry you and your soul fragments. That's it. And so when people start fucking around about switching destinies and doing spell work, and they're gonna force someone to be in their story, and they're gonna force somebody to be in their bed, and they're gonna force somebody to be in their life, and they gotta force somebody to be with them, and all this spell work, and you're gonna come hither, and you're gonna come hither person, and you're gonna have beauty spells, and I'm gonna take away your beauty, and I'm gonna take away your allness, and I'm gonna take away your destiny, I'm gonna take away everything, and I'm gonna have it, and all the sickening stuff that's done. Oh my God, the millions of spells that people have done just on me. Sickening. It's so sickening. And it's being returned post haste. And now the people are going like, what the fuck? It has to go somewhere. Those energies have to go somewhere. And your body sitting in the elegance and the beauty that God has given you, the chakras that run in light and oscillation of divine sacred stories in every one of your chakras. Every one of your chakras has divine sacred stories of just you and God. Just you and the experience you've had on whatever earth and whatever planet that those chakras hold for you to activate and bring forward and anchor on this now earth. So sacred. So sacred. There is no need for anybody to do spell work other than to heal your own body and connect with Gaia. That's the only reason why spell work should ever be done, is your connection with Gaia and healing your body. And if it's being done in any other way, right use of free will and non-interference and the laws of balance. And if you're doing spell work every day, you're not in balance and you're not aligned. Because your higher self would never say, go do a sex orgy. Your higher self wouldn't say that. Your higher self wouldn't, because your higher self knows that you're going to be out of balance and messed up until you clear those energies, until you know that your life force is meant just for you to manifest with. And until that one is put before you that God says, this is the partner that you have chosen to love unconditionally and to love you. That life force should only be shared with that. If you want to do an open experience and have other people love you and mess with you and take your life force and you're taking their life force, everybody in that circle has to be responsible enough to know how to clear energy and know what energy is. And if you're having those other people in that open experience share their life force with anybody else, you're sharing your life force with everybody that person touches. And why there's diseases going around now where people have been sharing their bodies and sharing diseases and they're not being responsible because those diseases aren't being forthright and told to the people they're getting in bed with. And again, that's karma on top of karma on top of karma. We have to understand this, dear lighted ones. This is like the basics. This is kindergarten basics of energy. This is basics of energy. Do you hold yourself valuable? Do you hold yourself with great love that God does? Do you hold yourself with love and sacredness so that you don't share your body and your energy or conjure anything through your vessel besides love and light? If you do, it's still a valid experience, and just know there are ramifications and there are consequences. And nobody is to blame for the devil running through your body but you. The devil through your body is anything. It can be cancer, it can be STDs, it can be anything, because you've opened up your vessel to have that intention. Whatever the intention was at conception, that is the energy of what is being conjured inside of you. And all those people that are involved in group porn and all of those things that sound and look so fun. Okay, well, it looks so fun when you got the devil running around your head 50 times 20. How are you going to deal with that? You're just going to be on a bunch of drugs and taped down to a bed. How's that working for you? And of course, the policing community doesn't know anything about multidimensionality. They don't know how to see and to sense if somebody's got entity attachment and how they're behaving so that they can kind of work around that in the highest and benevolent of ways. Most people that are being charged into hospitals or jails, they've got a lot of disassociation. They've got a lot of multidimensional wounding that can be healed and can be returned and can be reworked. But we're not there yet. I'm one of the few on the planet that's talking about these things. Open up my channel. People need me. And again, teach your children about sacred respect for their bodies. They claim their mind, they claim their bodies, and they claim their spirit and their soul. Their consciousness belongs to them. Nobody shall touch them and nobody shall harm them or take a piece of light from them ever. On ascended planets, there won't be selling of bodies. On ascended planets, there won't be sex with children. Who thought that was okay? Who thought that was okay? It's not okay. Where's the morals been? So all of the leaders are going to get called out. All of the leaders, one by one, will be shown their own choices and their own intentions of how they've directed humanity. It must be faced. And that is the greatest rewrite of humanity each and every person will be a part of. Because as these things occur in the social collective, we have to face it in our own personal lives. Because there's so many people that are going to be facing their own personal circles with what comes out in our collective. We have to understand we're multidimensional beings. Everything that you do matters because it's matter. You're creating matter from your energy. You are energy of God. You're creating matter. So anything that you do with your body, with your mind, you're forcing it, and this is what people that don't understand. It's mind-boggling, and it's okay because we have to learn. Anybody that does spell work and does voodoo and rituals and chanting and things like that, you're forcing the brain in ways that it's not meant to go. Nobody understands that. Nobody gets that. The brain in and of itself, when you're working with your higher self and when you're working with your teams, your ascension teams, there's things going on that your teams help you with reworking and rewiring to the highest light perspective so that you can process light, so that you can understand light codes, because you're going to be turning into a telepathic psychic being. You're not going to be in 10 years when we're all psychic and telepathic. We're not going to be communicating and speaking as we are. It's just how we use right now to communicate because people are not fully awakened. They're not honing their psychic bodies and their psychic fields. Everybody has psychic fields. Everybody is psychic. Those that are going to be turned off of their gifts and skills and talents are the ones that have been abusing them and doing things like orgies and sex orgies and doing voodoos on people and chanting on people, trying to take people down because they're mad and they're angry and they're wounded. So they want other people to pay, so they're doing spells on everybody. Or trying to force somebody to be in your life or do a binding sex spell because you want that person that left you a long time ago to be back in your life when they told you they didn't want to be. So there's a lot of lessons and a lot of wounding that's going on there. But you have to face these wounds. Because again, right use of free will is completely human rights being taken right out. No, everybody does have human rights. Everybody does have spiritual rights, and we are following the universal laws. Ascension won't stop because of a sect of group of arrogant people that want to have it their way. They just want to keep manifesting from greed and gluttony and envy and jealousy. No, those people will be taken one by spirit, and they'll be distributed the exact same, if not more, because of their intention when they were told to stop the first 100th time. And so allow them to go through their karma. Allow them to sit in what they created so that they can choose, am I worthy of a different path or not? Am I worthy to go within and see myself as lovable? That is ascension. Can I love myself today? Can I reconcile with what I've created? And forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for sending your body away to somebody else that you thought cared for you. No, they didn't care for you. You're the only one that loves you as much as you do, period. Rely on none to love you more than you. That is self-love. That is self-honor. That is taking commandmentship of your body, mind, heart, and soul. Can you do that? Take a deep breath and ground and ground and ground and ground and ground. I choose to love myself more than I give anybody power to love me. Give yourself the highest power to love yourself, because that's God. God gives you everything. It's those that are very, very wounded and the narcissistic hole and the belly that never gets filled. And they look for outer to fill them, and they go to orgies to fill them, and they have that short-term gain and that long-term loss. That's narcissism, to try and fill the empty pit that it's not their fault wound because they were sexually abused. And that is the cycle of abuse that has to be broken, and everybody plays a part. Sexual orgies, to conjure and to get and to take and to manifest, people don't know what they're doing. And it will manifest in very toxic maladies. Because the physical brain, the personality brain, all that you are as a one vessel, cannot take the inordinate amount of energies one is trying to conjure in. It can't. It doesn't get itself. Because why? Because you didn't own yourself to begin with. You have never owned yourself as a being. And all of a sudden you're opening yourself up that's never been owned before, has never been harmonized of the soul fragments, previous cycles of ascension. So now not only is your entire multidimensional bodies out of whack to begin with, but you're conjuring more demons and entities and energies into your vessel, and it cannot cope. The physical brain, the personality, the higher self is doing its best it can to align you with a reality that makes sense. If you're not healing, if you're not harmonizing, if you're not allowing yourself reflective time, objective time to see and to honor and to know what's going on in the processing of higher light codes and a higher vibrational reality, there's no way that any person in any person's mind can stay sane. They just can't, and they won't. I'm calling it. What people have been doing with energy and black magic, every single person on this planet. I call you out voodoo makers. I call you out ones in the jungle. I call you out ones that I don't care how great of a voodoo master you are. I don't care how much protection you think you're putting on yourself. I'm calling everybody out right now. Everybody that does spell work, I'm calling everybody out now. Stop the spell work. It's not needed and it will be blown back tenfold. You don't know the ramifications of what you are doing. All you need to do is sit in love and allow God to bring you your blessings. That's it. If you want to use spell work to heal your body, then book it with people that absolutely understand energy. People that are doing spell work to manifest abundance, to manifest people, to manifest this, to manifest that, they are not dealing with the wounds, and it will come back to bite you. Guaranteed. I'm calling it out right now. That is my judgment. That is how energy works. That is our creational reality, dear lighted ones. Go have your orgies all you want and see what comes back. See what you've manifested with that intention inside your body. Inside your body, your sexual organs, what did you just manifest? This needs to be talked about, dear lighted ones, because nobody has the right to place this on an innocent child that they have absolutely no decision and choice for. I'm calling everybody out. And these are discussions that needs to be had with every facet of our social reality because it happens in every community and it's not okay. We're facing it. It has to be faced. When you understand that you are a multidimensional being with infinite soul aspects and nobody is bringing in their aspects to be harmonized, nobody's doing their work, nobody's doing their harmonizing, nobody's doing their forgiveness and their self-loving to bring everything into a wholeness, what do you think is going to happen to that body? What do you think will happen to the 6 and 7 fields that you've got sitting in and outer? What do you think will happen to the psyche? The personality construct. The personality construct of a high vibrational being, of an empathic being, of a psychic being that's being thrown into a group orgy sec. What will happen to that psychic being when they're thrown into a group orgy? And I'm speaking from experience because those were those people that were group raping me and I was feeling it vibrationally. What happens to somebody that doesn't know who the fuck they are? What happens to an innocent child when they haven't been taught about their fields? I'm calling everybody out that has been doing that for me for about over 6 and 8 years. I'm calling every one of them out. And they will be watching this video because God will show it to them. I know what it felt like, and I was in absolute 100 control of my being. Physical, mentally, emotional, spiritual, and sexual. All my fields are sealed every night. And I still felt the sickening disgustingness of it. That their intentions tried to conjure on me, and I sent it away. And then I had to process that vision. I had to process that experience. How do you think a child feels? I'm giving it to you because we have to face that. That's how we heal. These things are going on every day. It's not okay. Corruption will be bathed from this planet. And I'm standing up. We have to know who we are. And if you choose to continue to resist and deny who you are as a multidimensional being, it will be very rough. And you may absolutely experience psychosis and psychotic break. So there's no fear. Call all that you are in now and start healing your chakras. Start healing those aspects of experience where you thought it was okay to do spell work and call somebody down. Because you wanted them to feel your pain. You wanted them to feel your hate. You wanted them to feel this and this and this. How dare they be so happy and put together? Yeah, no, I'm here to be happy and put together. And I've experienced every devil and demon that anybody could throw at me. I've experienced, I've seen it, I've felt it. I've heard it. That's what a seer does and am and is.
And I'm not going away, so get used to it. This is who I am, and I will speak truth. Because those that actually want to heal from gang rapes and gang orgies and all of those things, they have their right to be free. They have their right to claim their godhood. They have their right. And I am for those people, and I'm here for those people that absolutely have claimed their right. You want to heal? I'll be your healer. You want to sit in ignorance and pretending that nothing's wrong? You want to sit in ignorance pretending that, oh, this doesn't do anything? Yeah, it does do everything. And there'll be manifestation that will come of it. Whatever your higher self and your soul and God dictates. What is your lesson? The arrogance of not caring for your body? Then your body will have a takeaway from you. Be it disease, illness, STD, car crash, whatever it might be, that you have to wake up. So do you want to wake up in a gentle, loving way? Or do you want to wake up in a, knock, knock on the forehead way? God will wake you up no matter what. This is a reconciliation. Everything is being reconciled. Who are you? This is the time, dear lighted ones. And it's amazing, and it's fabulous, and it's incredible. And there will be things that every single person on this planet will be a part of reharmonizing, saying, okay, let's reconcile this. How did we allow this to be okay? We didn't take care of our bodies. We didn't take the health and the love of our bodies as divine and sacred. God has gifted you with a beautiful body that's going to have so many gifts. It's going to allow you to hear spirit. It's going to allow you to see spirit. It's going to allow you to be a part of spirit in so many ways. It's going to be allowing you to know that spirit is in all things. There was this beautiful little short video from YouTube that I shared this morning of a cat cats are known to see into other realms. Cats are very psychic. And cats help us with our intuition and help us with our psychic abilities. And this cat was, a dog in the family had passed away that evening. And the cat was looking and making spirit acts. And I've had many cats for many, many years. And they behave in ways where they see into realms and they interact with other realms of spirit. And so our bodies and our sensing and our psychic abilities are going to be very similar. There are those of us that can see things that others don't because their consciousness has been limited and dense enough. They have not awakened. They have not cleared the way. They have not understood their third eye or their galactic third eye or their pineal. They've had beliefs that have closed them off. It doesn't change the fact that those people are still multidimensional people. An atheist is a multidimensional person that has a God seed cell inside of them that never goes away, that never shuts off. That's why religion doesn't mean anything. There are things that we go through to figure out and sort out who we are. It allows us an opportunity and a speck of understanding of what God is, but not all. Religion doesn't deform and define and decide who we are. No, we are God essence. The breath of God is in all life. We have access to cellular life. The cellular life that you have access to command in new ways for miraculous healings, for miraculous alignments of the higher self. Who are you? Are you tapped in now? Are you tuned in now? Do you know that you're miraculous? Do you know that you're body of light? Do you know that your cells are listening to you? Do you know that you can release the demons from your field? That you've given permission to be there? Find that wound. Why did you allow them there? And those of you that experience, because some of you are on the line, some of you are and will become mediums. Mediums of spirits. Spirits alive and spirits dead. It does not matter because spirit is spirit. They never go away. You'll have the opportunity to understand and communicate with spirit. That's mediumship. It doesn't matter if the body is there or not. The spirit still is. And are you ready for that? Are you grounded? Are you harmonized? Do you know who you are? You don't have to freak out, dear lighted ones. Energy is energy. You have always been energy. You've just been very, very, very turned off. And you've been in systems that keep you that way. You've been in systems that have kept you in dumbness and numbness and separation. Now you're healing that. You're reconciling that. Reconcile every day that you feel separation. Who are you separate from? The ones that find hate for you, that's love, that's separation showing you. You don't have to feel that. You don't have to experience that. You don't have to feel the sickness of your body to know that it's one with you. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? You manifest disease because you thought it was separate from you. It's not separate from you. It's showing you very clearly that I am here. I will show you in disease or not, I am here. You have abilities to heal me. Are you listening? Are you getting it, dear lighted ones? You are God speaking to God. Act godly. You are a representation of the heavens, are you not? Take a breath. Yes, I am a representation of the heavens. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Mind, body, heart, and soul, I am one. Call in your soul fragments. I call in all soul fragments of my light today, dear lighted ones. My spirit, my soul, only my spirit and only my soul are in my alignment today. Breathe in. The higher self, the higher self, the higher self, I am one, I am one, I am one, and in guidance of my higher self only. I shall only be guided by higher self and God. Only guided by the higher self and God. That's it. That's all you need. Why would you need anybody else to give your power to and go to a secret club and say, I'm going to give my power to you and you will tell me what to do? Why would you give someone that power? And therefore, thus then, sit in whatever disease you have manifested. So take ownership of it. That's how strong you are. Stop playing victim. This is how powerful we are showing you. Get out of kindergarten now, dear lighted ones. It's time to wake up and grow up. Will you mature, or will you sit in your little victimhood and blame everybody for how you feel? No, go within and feel good because you're divine and you're godly. You are a representation of the heavens. That's why you are here. You are here to live in love. And let go of the defamation and the degradation that thought you had to sell yourself in any way to be heard and valued. Why would you give your value away to somebody else's voice? No, your value is pristine, is it not? You were born in pristinehood. Yes, you were. Every breath of you. You and God chose at the very moment that you would be born, and breathed you were. Therefore, why give that value or perspective to any other? Let them have their definitions and their ways and their perspectives. That's their level of consciousness and wounding that they may sit within, or their excellence or expansiveness they may sit within. But don't take it on as your own. Your own is your own. That's why it's called ownership. Dear lighted ones. Lots of crown chakra going on right now. I'm just doing some communication with the trees above me, and it's feeling wonderful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm really loving this. Thank you, Holy Spirit. This feels so amazing. And that's the biosphere Gaia speaking with us. You just look at this beautiful, lovely, all that lovely yellow and oranges and reds. And she's just like bathing all of these beautiful lights on my crown chakra. It feels so amazing. And so again, when you're connecting with spirit, that when you're aligned, you're tapped in, you're aligned, that's me. Yeah, that's my higher self. I'm in there. You've got that thread of information. You've got that thread of channeling. You've got that thread of higher light. You've got that thread of higher spirit. You're calling in that light, and it just takes away whatever density was ever there. Just like that. That second you call that light in, boom, that density is gone. That's like that's your Alliance with Light. That's the name of my 4th book. The Alliance with Light. That's all you need. No spell work, no orgies, no conjuring. They're very valuable lessons. The people that have done those things have taught humanity very valuable lessons, because they're going to be the examples through which we can come forward and learn so many profound experiences of the psyche, of the personality, the aspects of the psyche, of the personality, the aspects of the soul, how it was wounded through the tissues, how it was wounded through the brain. I mean, we've got so much to learn from these very dark experiences, and we have to own them and reconcile them. You know, that's how we move through it. So it's going to be very, very exciting. We have to face that emotional experience, because the body, again, you're a multidimensional being, which means you're physical, mentally, emotional, spiritual, and you're sexual. All of those experiences have to be reconciled. The sexual part of that has to be reconciled, and that's usually the most traumatic, because that's when especially if it's for a child, and for those that have been, you know, vibrationally and spiritually abused like myself, that's when other people have thought dominance and ownership over your body and your spirit, and they absolutely do not. And they'll do whatever they can to take it and hurt you. And who the hell are they? Like, you're not God. You're just a very wounded person that wants to hurt somebody because you're hurt. And so understanding the levels of the psyche, and then reclaiming your own consciousness, reclaiming your light, understanding how to call in the higher vibrations of light and aspects of yourself that you can have access to. When I'm channeling, they're all aspects of me. They're just threads of me in different versions. And then there's beings that come in when I call them in specially. And you can do that, but you have to go through, again, your higher self as your gatekeeper. If you're not working with your higher self, or if there's readers or healers that are not working with their higher selves, they're not connected, and they're not giving anything but a 3D experience, a very low 3D experience. you're connecting with your higher self, and you're connecting with all that is, the God on the other side. God, the higher self. Higher self would always guide you in benevolence. Higher self would always guide you in the highest health. Higher self would always guide you in the highest wealth. Higher self would always guide you in those you connect with and those you need to stay away from. Your higher self knows what the higher self is doing. Your higher self is God in its higher aspect. Your godly aspect is your higher self. Why would you not want to work with it? Your higher self will find you jobs. Your higher self will find you the highest vocation. Your higher self will find you the highest healer. If you ask your higher self to find you the highest healer for whatever it is needs you really want to work on, the purity of heart, if you're not pure of heart, your spirit, your higher self will send you to that one is not your higher self. It will send you to those that are not necessarily aligned with your higher self. So you're going to be sent that. So just know. Whatever you're vibrating in that moment, if you're not in respect of your body, if you're not in respect of who you are, if you're not in respect of truly healing yourself, I know how it's felt to face the infinite number of demons I'd faced. And the infinite number of spell work that people project at me, and the hate and the evil eye and all that's being done to me. I feel that. And I transmute, and I'm one with spirit in it. And spirit has been deplored at how horrible I've been treated. Just for simply being me and calling truth out when God calls me to call truth out. Because we can no longer keep hurting children. We can no longer keep hurting communities. We can no longer keep hurting those that you say you're being truthful in front of, and everybody else around you suffers because you want to continue a lie. How is that okay? How is it okay that the corrupt get what they get while everybody else suffers? How is that okay? That's what we have normalized. We have normalized violence. We have normalized children getting hurt. We have normalized children being sold. We have normalized humans being trafficked. None of these things will exist on a 5-dimensional planet. It won't. We will have been healed, and we love and have sacredness for all aspects of life. Nobody would ever, ever, ever consider of harming a child or yourself. How is any of that okay? Why is there a $1 billion underground black market business? Why is there trophy hunting? Why is there pictures of people being glorified sitting beside, shot up carcasses? Why is that okay? Very sacred animals that hold very sacred stories. Hi, sweet Angela. My sweet little alien friend. So every one of you have a part to play. Trophy hunting is not okay. These animals are placed here in very sacred limitation now because we've done such a poor job of being ambassadors of them. Hello, Cluda. Hello, darlings. The goddesses of 5D. 5D goddesses you are. Yes, you are, darlings. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. God loves you so much. God loves you. So, Cludo, Spirit said that they sent you a, oh, thank you, sweetheart. You have a deal, and Angela, remember, because you've donated so much. You have to just send me whatever you can send me. Don't worry about sending me the full price because you've donated and you've helped me out so much. Send me whatever you can, sweetie. Clued out, your spirit team just said that they gave you a, I'm looking at the weekend, so I don't know if it's this weekend or last weekend. They said they sent you a synchronicity for you. So watch out for that. Your teams are sending you a fun little playful thing for you. I'm just seeing Saturday night. So I don't know if you experienced something last Saturday night, because I know it's the weekend now. So yeah, get excited. There's going to be lots of spiritual stuff happening for the next 3 months, people. The synchronicities of spirit are going to be so profound. So really open up and say, okay, spirit, there's going to be so much miracles happening for those that have really stayed 10 toes down, just trusting that God's going to pull us through when we're just having faith in who we are. And when you're just sitting praying and you're doing the very best just to be love and just to, process the pain and process the anger, you got to process it. So don't feel bad about, feeling those dark emotions. You got to feel those emotions. You got to, again, reconcile. Why am I feeling angry? And then you go into, a forest, or you go into the ocean, and then you just do some running on the spot, and you get that energy out, and you clear the energy, you transmute the energy, you run around a tree a couple of times, you hug the tree, All of those are good ways to transmute energy, very dark energy, in a very healthy way. Because not only are you doing that, but you're giving energy back to Gaia, and Gaia will heal you. Just as I was doing that channeling, Gaia started to transmute and bring me higher vibrational energies. So part of that code that I was offering you guys was Gaia transmissions as well. They're one of the highest transmissions that we can for vibrational beings that are transmuting, transitioning into higher crystalline. Gaia in and of herself is many elements of matter. Very high vibrational essences like iron, metals, and things like that. And it's in and of itself is as crystalline charged, they're showing me. So it's just like all that Gaia is being charged by the crystalline grids and all that we're being bathed with. And the very special beings of inner earth and outer earth that work with her to, again, harmonize and continue her integration into 5D grid lines. And so many of us work with the crystalline grids, and we work with the crystalline energies, and we work with healing and sending her nourishment because it helps us understand who we are, because again, it's all reflection, micro, macro. She is the essence of our body ship, if you will. So she's showing us in a very physical way what we're moving through. That's why the outer is reflecting of what's going on inner, and why we have to prepare for what's going to be coming out, for the pulling up and the releasing of covens and cults and things like that. There is no judgment on covens or cults if they're not interfering with other people's lives. So just know, if there wants to be a secret society that wants to have me come and do a healing session or show them how to work with energy, and they can remain in their secret cult experience or their secret society experience, that's fine, as long as they're not interfering. So you have to understand, to know and to learn those things and want to learn those things. If you want to maintain your, the Masons way back in the earliest of times, the Johanni Masons from the earliest of times, was to uphold the offering and the holiness and the sacredness of the Christed energy of sacred life. That was the original intention of the Masons. And it's become so twisted and warped, just as everything has in our society. Because again, it's been run and owned by the oligarchic, misaligned, misunderstood, misguided, wounded, very wounded, distorted masculines. As again, everything you see is distorted masculine. Everything that's being run in our society is the wounded divine masculine. Everything. 99% of the leaders in all of our societies and all of our systems are men. And they're wounded. They have not taken ownership and account for their healing. And there is no judgment on that. That is a fact. Look at how things are. Everyone has to face exactly what we are creating. Divine feminine and higher vibrational leaders that are aligned with their higher self will be the leaders of 5D. We have to be the ones that navigate and help and guide people through the navigation of multidimensional ascension. We're multidimensional beings. We cannot get around that. You won't get around it. Spirit will keep putting you back down on your knees until you get that soul lesson. You are a multidimensional being. You are meant to be and to know and to express yourself as light. You are meant to see that you can communicate with any legion of beings that are of the divine holy light. And also those that have been in those cults and covens and dark voodoos and all of those things, they've also shown us that they can also connect with the very darkest of beings and entities. It's all God. The darkest entity is still God. It's just, how do you want to play today? So give yourself acts. Don't judge it. But absolutely know that if those are the actions and transactions you want to do with your life force, with your vessel of spirit, there will absolutely be the manifestations that you have to transmute and reconcile. You have to reconcile your choices. Nobody gets away with it in Ascension. That is how you become a master. That is how those masters that have gone through infinite cycles of mastery initiation, how many times have I been initiated? How many times have I been tested? Can't even count. My teams are saying about 800. I've reconciled about 882 lifetimes. That's being tuned in. When I feel a timeline, I feel it and I can reconcile it. And it's not always easy. Sometimes it takes months and years. This one very dark experience of timeline was other timelines and people that were threaded with me, other dimensions. Because we had other experiences in other cults that we had been together with on other timelines and other planets. And they were very upset that I didn't want to join their cult. Because this timeline is different. I don't want that experience this timeline. I get my free will. I don't want a cult this timeline. I don't want a coven this timeline. Been there, done that. I am sovereign. I walk with God and God only. That's it. And I will help whoever along that genre. I will help anybody that wants to be healed, that wants to know more. I will help anybody. I won't help anybody that wants to use that information for bad or for harming another, period. And God won't lead me to you, and you won't be led to me. But if there are secret sects, if there are groups, if there are agencies of churches, I will absolutely come out and assist in whatever way, as long as it's for the highest and the greater good, and you want to understand universal law so you don't get karma backfold, tenfold, backfiring. Absolutely. I'm here as an aspect of God from the heavens. And those that want pure of light, teachings, honorings, wisdoms, expansiveness, activations, and healings, call me. I'm here. That's why I'm here. Politicians, you should be calling me, or Daniel, or other healers like him. Lee Carroll doesn't offer healings. He just offers his channelings. And he channels 100% pure universal wisdom. So listen to these beings. They offer 100% pure universal wisdoms. There's no selfishness in their channelings. The three of us, we don't offer selfish channelings. It's not about us. It's about the collective good. It's about who are we in our transmutation? Who are we in our highest potential? Who are we in our highest promise of love? Everybody has the power of God within them. Can you own that? Take a breath. And ground. And we're going to do another channel to see what the Gaia offers us. I'm calling in you, beautiful, holy Gaia. I'm owning and I'm honoring the holy aspects of who I am as God. And have your feet placed on the floor. We want to open our Earth Star Chakra, the beautiful star chakra that's connected with the Earth. We love you, Gaia. We love you so much. Feel the beautiful Earth Star Chakra, and you might see your ancestors and your angels that are helping you connect with the Gaia grids. And I always call upon my ancestors to help me ground to the Gaia grids, because your ancestors are miracle workers with you and your remembrance of who you are with Gaia. So always call upon your ancestors. There's never more than times now that we have greater support, life healing, light healing, and energy healing for every single person on Earth. We've never had this much support that we do right now. So if you choose to call God in your heart, if you choose to call the highest light into your heart, if you choose to want to see your reality as the highest vibrational life, and you want to get excited about who you are as spirit, you want to get excited about your access as God, you want to get excited about who you are as your ownership of God, then call it in. Open your heart and say, at this moment, dear lighted ones, whoever I am before, upon the heavens, upon the councils, upon the highest of the holy heavens, I choose to be a part of whoever I choose to be with God. I'm going to go through a million transmutations. I'm going to go through a million different changes. I'm going to call in a million different energies, because I know that I'm one with God. I hold no fear. I stand within my power every day. I stand within my choices every day. And I stand within the story of who I am. I know truth. And I won't be afraid to speak truth. I will speak truth to the highest of the heavens, because it is for me to exalt in who I am. No other can exalt who I am. Say that loudly and clearly, dear lighted ones. No one can exalt who I am but me. I exalt all that I am. And say it again. No one can exalt me more than me, for I am that I am. I am that I am. I exalt me. Only I exalt me. And when you get to that place, dear lighted ones, make no mistake about this. The heavens will open up unto you, and you will be blessed with everything and all things, because you have got to that place where God has always knew you would be, right in the center of love, accepting yourself as love. Accept yourself as love. Accept yourself as love. I am love, I am love, I am love, I am love, I am love. I exalt myself in love. And breathe. I exalt myself in love, and today upon the Mother and the Father I bow. Amakete, enamanakarataka, and see your golden crown, see your golden crown, see your golden crown. I am in service to the holy heavens. In all the ways that I may be one with the holy heavens. I allow myself to change as many times as God shall wish. I am the holy heavens, I am the holy heavens. I am a vessel of the heavens, and I will change as many times as I so desire. For I can expand, and I can move, and I can transmute. And breathe. And feel your crown get wide and big. Feel the crown of the heavens be placed upon you, for your acceptance of yourself as love is your ticket into the heavens. That's all that's needed. Accept yourself as love. Can you do that, dear lighted one? Can you accept yourself as love? Can you shine the shiniest smile and say, that's love? Can you give love today unconditionally? Can you be unconditional today, dear lighted ones? I know you can. You are children of God. Of course you can. You are children of God. You remember that. You remember that your hearts are just bouncing to be you. Wake up every day bouncing. Wake up every day. You want to be love. You want to share the love of who you are. You want to say, I know love. I've seen love in different ways. I've heard love of different ways. I get to know who I am in different ways. I get to harmonize and reconcile all those aspects of me that people told were ugly and not nice and unwarranted or unknown, unsavory. Those unsavory parts are you too. Reconcile it and bring it in and love it. Honor the shadows, dear lighted ones. It's there because it's waiting for you to own it. Own it. Nothing to be afraid of. Own it. For when you can see humanity for all that it is, that is when it shifts overnight, dear lighted ones. You have healed the heart of humanity. You have accepted it for all that it is. You can understand it at the various levels that it needs to be healed completely. You cannot heal what is there in a 3D experience. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? You will not heal the underground corruption from a 3D perspective. You must see higher and breathe higher. God has placed each and every one of you here because you see things in higher, various mutations of earthly and heavenly all at once. Minutias. You are minutia for God. You can be this and you can be that and you can see it from higher perspectives. God has placed you here so that you can see what was and you can see maybe there's something more. Maybe I can be new. Maybe I can cease with the deceit and the lies. Maybe I can be truly who I am. And there are some that have been forgotten so dearly in themselves that all they know is lies. And have that be okay too, and forgive them. They've just entrained themselves into lies. And know that that too is a perfection of God's experience. For we will learn much about the psyche. We will learn much about who you are as beings of light. And many of you have been brought here with different DNA aspects that have been awakened to certain aspects of your light. And every cycle of ascension, you are given a new opportunity to enlighten, to activate that perspective of your DNA that brings you closer to your sourceness. The allness of who you are as God. And everybody is working within a different percentage of their integration of light. And that is what we say is on the other aspect of the spectrum, which is your 51% of karma. It is equal to, upon the opposite side, of the integration of your light. For one equals the other. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? And as you work with effacing and owning and acclimatizing those aspects of you, the all of you, the fragments of you, the aspects of you, the integration of you, the reconciling of you, and reconcile it with great forgiveness. I forgive myself for keeping this in separation and denial, for it is all me. The underground is all of us, dear lighted ones. It must be reconciled. The leaders that have brought you into great corruption must be reconciled. And it will be. That is God's promise. It will not run in this way. The times for running countries into corruption and war are done. There will be no more wars. There will be no more corruption. Daily and daily it is being bathed. From within your hearts you are calling for it to be equal and fair, and for all voices to be a part of your creational story. For you have elders and you have ancestors that have never been spoken of, that are equally a part of this ascension. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? There are aspects of you that are a part of this ascension that you have not yet been reconciled. And you will celebrate, and you will exalt yourself even greater. For there are aspects of you that have waited till the very end of this journey and this ride. For many of you, you've been on this ride for very, very long. You have come here many times and did not ascend, and that's okay. For you wanted to have more time in your experience of your body, because you knew that you would be of service to others in their bodies, and how important the vessel is of itself, and how very limited aspects of your belief systems have held you in limitation and disease. But we want you, dear lighted ones, to know that the promise for humanity is to see itself into living well beyond the age of 125, 150, 175 if you wish. And there are many of us that live in the 5th and the 6th dimension, and there are those of us upon the Federation that have had bodies for 700 years. And we can do that. We can transmute our body at the thought. Thank you, Holy Spirit. They're showing me Commander Ashtar is working within a vessel of 700 plus years old. And I was asking him the other day, I was just playing with Commander Ashtar, and I was playing, and I was saying, so you don't have the same body? I mean, that would be boring. And he says, no, I change it up. Commander Ashtar is very beautiful. He's a very beautiful soul, and he's part of my soul. I love you, Holy Ashtar. He's a part of my soul family, and he shares these beautiful little intimate things with me so that I can understand how powerful we are within our bodies. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So be excited. Get excited about where we're at, dear lighted ones. And know that everything that's coming out in our collective, everything that's coming out in our everyday, whether it be, family secrets, whether it be all of these things that are coming out, and don't be afraid to sit down and have those respectful conversations with those that you need truth from. Have those conversations to clear away the densities and the cobwebs of deceit and lies and manipulation, because every family carries them. And just before, if you can do it before the holiday season, so that when you're at the holiday season, you actually enjoy being around each other, and let the time between now and the holidays take place for that clearing and that integration and that healing, so that you can give everybody in the family time to have their respectful, positive versions of their story be heard. And that's all really truth is. It's allowing their version of truth, because remember, they're working within a version of truth that is not your version of truth. They're working in their version of consciousness, and it's not your version of consciousness. So you don't have to have each other see each other's sides in, segment of story for segment of story. Just allowing each other to be voiced is enough to clear the energy of lineage karma, because you don't want your children walking with it. Back in my parents' day and my grandparents and their grandparents, there was a lot that they kept as secrets. There was a lot that just was never talked about. That was the way it was back then. That's just the way that life was back then. They had a lot of indiscretions that were hidden under the carpet, and none of it was talked about. Then when I went to help my dad with the family tree, there was a lot we found out. A lot of those indiscretions, came out, because there's more people in the family you thought you had, right? And all of a sudden the family tree gets bigger and wider. And so those are, again, that's reconciling. That's bringing oneness in. And there's a lot, every family has them. Every family has these secrets. So, have some sacred time between now and Christmas and just say, hey, let's get together for dinner. Let's just have a time where we just express ourselves freely in a safe space. We're not meant to see each other's sides or to heal Rome in a day, but just have that expressive evening where everyone comes out with the intention to heal and just express their stories. And that in and of itself is healing enough. And that's like a circle of healing where you just all sit around with candles and beautiful music and beautiful teas and beautiful essences. And you just all have the intention to hear each other out and to hear each other's sides of life experiences, not to force another to see your way, not to force another to see, their side of it, or the manipulations that do occur in very abusive, manipulative families, but set the intentions and the ground rules. These are just for our stories of our life, because then you get a greater understanding for what your parents walked through. You get a greater understanding for what the pain that somebody has been through. One of my stories is very key and pivotal, because a lot of the people that have been abused are the light workers and the sensitives and the empaths and the light workers and the hybrid children, the crystalline children. We're going to have to find ways to heal. Nobody would have known about the multidimensional sorcery and mess that's been going on and the underground human testing that's been going on, unless people like myself come forward and say, these are the levels of corruption that one person goes through, and many people that didn't make it, because there's no way anybody would have made it out alive of what I went through. It has to be talked about. My story has to be shared. My channel has to be shared. There's divine human healing in every ailment and diseases that can be healed from the information and wisdoms and activations and codes from my channel. So share my channel. My channel should not be shadow banned. And again, God will be calling out and bringing karma to those that have done the coding and done the intentions of shadow banning me. Because my destiny is to be in front of the collective as a leader and as a Christed healer. And I will be. I am. And my heart is so filled with so much love for all of those that have, through the years, constantly, sought and researched my channel and, sought me out from KCOR or Where Is She Next. You guys have all found me. Because what I speak is truth. My lineage is in my bones and in my blood. And we have always been purveyors of Gaia and humanity. And unfortunately, it's come with the oppositions that have fighting over lineage and fighting over blood wars and all of those things that are just ancient stories that they're being silenced. There's no more. Every single person has the say of their life. This is my body. This is my consciousness. This is my life. I get to choose who's in my circle. There is absolute forgiveness from everybody from the past, and there will be no renewing. There's no recycling. There's no other cycles. There's no nothing. I get to say that because I want higher vibrational experiences, because that was shit. It was literal shit. There's nothing that I would do over again. There's nothing that I would ever want back in my life for a minute. It was horrible, 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 horrible. And I would never call that in, and I can help a lot of people heal because it was abuse. Torment and abuse to try and control me and my energy and my light. To try and make me be somewhere and be with someone and be in stories and be with energies that I don't want to be with. No. I get to choose. No means no. My life matters, my voice matters, and I'm going to stand for it. Every woman on this planet shouldn't have to say no 1 million times before she's heard. A divine feminine on this planet shouldn't have to fight as hard as I have fought to have my videos shared as equally as any other light worker. My videos should be 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000 a day, and I get maybe 50 to 100, 200. That's absolute, blatant, obvious, obnoxious discrimination. And God is calling everybody out one by one. Just like the Jenga, those blocks are being pulled, and God's not going to miss anybody. Because it's, as Spirit said to me this morning, the Galactic Federation said this morning, they said we are sad to see. We're sad to see everything that you have faced and everything that you have been through, and it's being reconciled now. So one by, like, there's legions. I've got bodyguards all around me. Everybody that couldn't help me in the physical are now my bodyguards. Everybody that couldn't make it right in the physical are now my bodyguards. Spiritual bodyguards on every vibrational dimension. Legions. I've got angels. I've got the fairies. I got Gaia protecting me. I mean, that's how much I'm attacked on a daily basis. Just because I speak truth of the corruption that's going on, and those that don't want the truth to be heard, and those that don't want humanity to be claiming their breath and their light and their fields. When you claim and own who you are, you become a force. You start magnetizing God. That's what I offer. I teach that. Do you want to magnetize yourself with God as God? And have fun and joy? That's your humbleness, right? You got to be humble, and you got to do it with their highest joy, to be that sacred child, to play with nature again, to play with life again. God wants you to receive everything that God will give you. It's not for gluttony and selfishness, because you're going to go back right again, and you're going to heal those 7 sins. Those 7 aspects of the personality that were wounded. That inner child has to be healed. Because you're not meant to go through life getting everything and being the best and always winning. How are you being a master when you're always going through the same cycle? That's not mastery. You will be humbled. You will not get through Ascension without being humbled every day if you need to. If you're an arrogant person and thinking everyone's got to be under your command and bow to your feet, you absolutely will be humbled. Trump will be humbled another 100 times before he actually awakens. The arrogance is just, ugh. And that's how you know, is somebody aligned or not? If somebody, when somebody's aligned, It's pure, it's accurate, it's clear, it's truth. There's vibrations in there. No messing around. No, it's not confusing. The devil is confusing. No, we are divine sacred beings. Yes. We can manifest anything we want. Yes. We are absolutely healed within our bodies if we so choose. Yes. You are a manifestation of God. Yes. God is beyond all religions. Yes. God is encompassing of all life, all colors, all insects, all animals, all sacred life. Yes. Why would there be trophy hunting? So if you are in and of itself as God, why are you trophy hunting? Why is that okay? Why is the rape of a child okay? There's wounding there. We must face it. And those that have done that and have known that because they've been watching these videos and still go out to their underground groups and have sex with kids and orgies and all of that, they're the ones that will absolutely get karma first for everyone to see, because they have been the ones that have been the most in denial of it. And they refuse to face who they are. They will be the ones that God will pull out one by one and they will show them to humanity. Because they were the most arrogant ones that said, absolutely no, God, I will spit on the face of God. And then God will say, okay, so it shall be. If it shall be a rough and rocky ride, it will be a rough and rocky ride. You called it. Those arrogant ones that act like that and behave like that in such hate of who they are, in such hate of love, in such hate of light, they will be the ones called out. They chose that. And they will still blame God, and they will still blame everybody around them. But they will be the ones that all will learn from, because that is how God uses every single person on the planet. You are a vessel of the heavens. How are you represented? Will you be a representation of a lesson for everybody? In what way will you be? Share your story. You are a representation of the heavens. You are of the heavens. You are placed here of the heavens. You chose this path of ascension. You're going to harmonize and navigate and reconcile 100,000 different times before you ascend, before you take on that light body of the Christ. And the Christ is unconditional Metatronic light that allows you to go anywhere in this multiverse. That is eternal life, my dear lighted ones. That is why you can take on a body until you're 700 and change it infinite number of times if you so choose, by a thought. Just like that. That is being Christic. Has nothing to do with religion. You see, there's twisted and warped things we've got going on our planet about what the Christ really means. It's up to everybody to carry whatever meaning they want, just like God. But there's so much that's been misunderstood and misguided. And those that have done sex orgies, that's been misguided. And oh my gosh, they're facing karma now. And the things that their bodies and homes are going through right now. And the innocent children that I pray for every day, the innocent children that are always a part of that mix, that they had no choice in it, but the wounding of their parents' choices. All was so unnecessary. From the very first video that we put on, everything is so unnecessary if you just go within and face your wounding and heal your wounding. The children don't have to be harmed by black magic voodoo and those parents that absolutely have no clue what they're doing. And they're bringing so much darkness into their home and corruption into their home. And it bleeds through the whole family like a cancer cell. And the little bad luck that all their kids manifest is their black magic backfiring. They don't get it. They don't want to take responsibility for that. They just want to get what they want to get. They want to feed what they want to feed. They want to take what they want to take. Okay, well, how's that working for you now? Because now you're going to be in a jail cell because you actually are committing crime. When you don't give a crap about anybody else around you and you still do what you do because you want to get what you get, those are entity attachments and you're not facing who you are. Face who you are. Because even if you go to court and you say, I have entity attachment, I'm all crazy. No, because they're going to be calling on experts like me and I'm going to actually say, no, you actually had 2 years of advance notice and you were told every step of the way. You can choose to go within and forgive yourself. You can choose to go within and say, I'm going to take another path. I'm going to choose to love. Everybody has a choice, alter course or not. No more playing victim. No more trying to scapegoat anybody around you for your choices. And those people that I was involved with, that's what they used me for, as their scapegoat. Creating defamation and false stories and false claims and false this and false that. Trying to hide monies from me and trying to hide this from me. Trying to hide stuff that's mine from me. Trying to hide parts about who I am from me, like I didn't know, like I'm not smart enough. Treating me like an absolute ignorant mess of a person, as if I didn't know myself. I didn't have ownership of myself. I didn't have rights over myself. I mean, these people were just absolutely had no idea about God and destiny and about creational reality and no idea about energy, no idea about nothing. That's why everything's imploding, which I said 2 years ago. It's all coming true. You're sitting in it. You're sitting in your choices. So how's it working for you? right? So now you're going to claim yourself. No, I choose to be loved now. I want to experience that cycle. Can I experience a cycle of love and forgiveness and healing of myself? Can I actually get up every day and say, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to look in the mirror today. I will face my follies. Yeah, boy, did I screw that up. Oh my God, how can I make this right? And you get to every single person that you made wrongs with. Every single time you put a spell on somebody that had them held down because you wanted to see them underneath your feet. That's a lot of arrogance there, and that's a lot of self-hate. Because nobody deserves to be used as a slave, as a vibrational slave. How many thousands of dollars were spent on me, just me, in the spell work? How many thousands? How many different voodoo doctors and spellcasters were used? How many different aspects and schemes and plots and plans were used just for me to try and take me down, to make me shut up about what's going on in communities and about the false leaders? A lot. It could have healed that whole group twice over if they had just redirected their monies to healing, rather than impale me with their hate because I said no to joining them. I said no to not being around them. I said no not to being their sex harvesting, as I said no to knowing that they were taking my information and my work and not paying me anything for it and using my energy and using my light. I taught them unconditionally for years on how to get out of it, on how to change, on how to not experience what they're experiencing, but they just chose to keep abusing me. They had hundreds and thousands of opportunities to stop doing what they were doing. And God gave them unconditional love and grace. You can't touch my energy field anymore. Why would you? Why would you be allowed? 6 to 8 years of abuse? Why would you be allowed to touch my energy? Those are the questions you need to ask in your healing. Those that are watching that are from the past. You abuse somebody, why would you be allowed access? There's a wound there. Go to that wound. That's a deep, deep, deep wound. That's a deep rejection wound of the womb within the mother and you. That's why I say what I say. Draw it out, dear lighted ones. Draw it out. How much money was spent on spell work? Anybody that does spell work, anybody that's directing their energy in a way that they don't want to direct it, draw it out. How much money did I spend here? What could I be doing now? How can I redirect my energy? That's creational reality. And those that do spell work, you know that your karma is hitting now because that was God's word. Draw it out. How much money was wasted? How much time was wasted? How much energy was wasted? How much mess is being created right now? How much of a dark mess that light workers have to go in and fix up and clear and heal because we're the only workers that can clear up that darkness. Because we're the only ones that knows what the fuck's going on. Police don't know what's going on. They're just there when the crime creates. So that's what I'm saying. We're going to start rewriting everything within our social experience. Policing as I see it now is getting download yesterday. How policing operates right now is because they're so entrenched in wrong laws, if you will, because they're not under universal laws. The only way that a police can activate and work is if when the crime actually happens or after the crime has already taken place. Because they're so bound by the laws that aren't working. And the laws are corrupt and the systems are corrupt. The judges are corrupt. Systems are corrupt. And then they get the people on the streets. Sometimes they'll get people on the streets very vulnerable to be a part of their little schemes and scams so that they can get their wrongs written off and transfer it to somebody more vulnerable. That's how these people think. No, your crime and your karma will always stick to you. So anybody that's in a little Mason group or anybody that's in those little corrupt experiences, and when you're listening and how you're listening, your karma will always stick with you. Whether you get a vulnerable person to do something on your behalf or to sign a signature, to pay somebody off to be silent, your karma is on every one intention and every deed. Make no mistake about that. I call judgment on you. Your soul is being called judgment right now. I'm being placed before you for a reason. So share my videos. Share them large and share them wide. God uses me. God will place me before every single person that has ever done wrong to a person over and over and over and over and over again when they were told not to. Don't touch thy daughter, they were told 100,000 times. Don't touch thy daughter. And they arrogantly spat on me and God. And so, thus then, it unfolds. Just as we said it would. Because that's how darkness works. It doesn't have anywhere to go but within itself to implode. until it finally sees itself as darkness, and then it accepts itself as darkness. And then the only way to go is in the light. Understand energy, dear lighted ones. This is creational reality. We're no longer 3D. We are now facing the ugliness of 3D that we have allowed. And we have allowed to be so normal. It's not normal. Spell work every day is not normal. If you trust and love yourself is all that you need to do, and God will bless you 10 times. All you need to do is love yourself and do your very best to love another. Every day. That's it. It's very simple. Right use of free will and non-interference and the law of balance. Are you balanced? Doing spell work every day is not balanced. I work with energy every day for the planet because it needs it. Every day I work with energy. Every day I transmute energy. Every day I work with energy. Every day. Every hour I work with energy. Every hour. That's what it's like being me. I'm never turned off. God has to force me to turn off. God has to force me to come pull out, to go in hermit mode, because that is who I am. That's what I'm coded as. I am a walking transmuter. I'm a conduit. I walk, I'm in energy, I am energy. That's what I do. That's how I'm built. So the spell works, it won't work. I'm going to be protected 100, 1,000, a billion-fold. This planet will ascend. This planet will move into light. There will be no more corruption, and I call it now. Everyone that has been given the opportunity to get out of their ego and heal their wounds so they don't harm another, that is oneness. Face it. The Clintons of the world, the Epsteins of the world, the Trumps of the world, the Gates of the world, the Musks of the world, the Rothschilds of the world, the Maxwells of the world, anyone with elite power and money and resources that have been doing wrong, everyone will be called out. And it has nothing to do with us versus them. It has to do with you've been given enough time and what has been done. Nothing but elite, corrupt agendas that have enslaved an entire human population. And everybody now got to work their way out of it. You got to work your way out of enslavement. It's possible. I did it. If I did it under my circumstances, which were treacherous and dark that no other person would have ever gone under, I was vibrationally in the effects of the underworld. That's where I was kept for 6 years. That was my soul's detour so that I could heal part of the corruption on this planet and call it out and know and learn somehow how to heal this multidimensional vibrational raping that took place on me every day, that they had no permission or rights to, no permissions or authority to. And then they had defamation stories and things going out about who I am, that I don't have a right frame of mind. How dare I heal from what I went through? And then to have the absurdity and the ignorance and the stupidity to throw out false claims that I don't have a mind enough to take care of monies, that the inheritance that are meant to come to me are not really mine because I've been through so much and I don't have a right frame of mind. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? For me to get up every day is a miracle. Nobody would have survived what I survived. I deserve 10 times whatever monies are coming towards me. Nobody would have gone through what I went through. And I'm exalting myself. Nobody does that but me. I exalt myself. And I tell God, God, I'm ready to be exalted. Get me up there. That's where you got to match God. Equal measure. Equal measure. No more underground. It's done. This is my planet. We're bringing Gaia home. No more corruption. I speak on behalf of Gaia. No more degrading of our animals. No more degrading of our resources. No more degrading of her resources in any way. Insects will be respected. Animals will be respected. Children will be respected. The elders will be respected. The ancestors will be respected. Why? Why must we actually face this, dear lighted ones? Why must we face this? Because it's you. Every animal on this planet has a sacred story of God. Every time an animal is killed and raped and hunted and put on the wall, that is God. Who gives you that right? Who gives you the right to rape a child? That is God. And their bodies and their minds and their fields and their psyches are messed up. Who gives you that right? Who gives you the right to make $1 billion business on pornography where you're selling girls and having girls look like tools of sex? And the ignorant person that was in the chat room that day that told me to move my hair away from my chest so they could see my chest. If you want to watch porn, go watch fucking porn. Get out of my space. These are my standards. This is New Earth. Go be ignorant and rude on somebody else's time. This is the new divine feminine. Get used to it, boys, because we're ascending. And we will heal this planet. Who's in? Thank you, Mother. Mother just said to me, that's Joanna putting it straight. No messing around with Joanna. She's putting it out there. That's why the Mother chose me. I don't mince words. It is what it is. I said what I said. Go watch your fucking porn channel somewhere else. Get off my channel. And I'm going to send every single name to the YouTube feedback. Send feedback to YouTube about my channel being shadow banned. Share our channel, share our videos. Wherever you paste it, share it. Share our videos. People need ascension wisdoms. People need to understand how to honor their bodies and their fields and have themselves stand in their own power of who they are as God. Stand up and speak truth in a positive and loving way. Don't protest. Stand and speak truth. This is who I am today. Share your family stories before the holidays so that you can enjoy each other at the holidays. Say, wow, I didn't know that about your life story, but I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to, that's part of creating unity and oneness, is finding that common ground. It's going to be a challenge, and the most beautiful challenge that all of us really wanted. This is one of the things that the creators and the boards of Ascension have been showing me. We all chose this most exciting and very powerfully profound, challenging. Those of us that are going to be leaders are the ones that have been trained the most, and it is going to be the most challenging. And we don't have it easy by any means of the imagination. You have to take aspects of dimensionality from 3D dimension all the way up to 5D dimension. And that's a lot of interfacing that needs to be accommodated. So again, those that don't understand energy, those that are not awake, those that just place judgment have no idea. But I'm just showing you as an energetic experience. Threads of bandwidth on every single person that's holding a different level of vibrational energy. Everybody that's holding a different level of integration of what they are, who they are, what they exist within. Everybody that's holding a different level of intelligence. Everybody that's holding a different level of beliefs because of their lineage, because of their dogmatic experience, because of their traumas, because of their unhealed wounds, because of their healed wounds. All of those things, you absolutely bet it takes a master. People like Trump won't be able to understand anything that I just said. We need to think higher, dear lighted ones. We need to be higher. We cannot heal 3D problems from a 3D perspective or 3D leader. It came right from the mouth of the councils. We need to be higher vibrational. We need people that can interface with infinite modalities of dimensional experience and come up with possibilities of mediumship in the median range so that it's neutral as much as possible. And that is where we become, and why so thank you, they're showing me. Who am I speaking with? Thank you. Thank you. So it's my counterpart on the, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. It's my council on the Star Council. And so they're showing me, can you go back to her? I'm so excited to connect with you. I haven't talked with you in a while. Thank you. Oh, I know you're always with me. Thank you, but I haven't talked with you specifically. Thank you. So what was that part? I'm right now telepathically, I'm hugging them and I'm talking with them because I haven't talked with this being in a while. What you just said to me? What were we talking about? Lost it? Oh, yes. So there are, yes, and the Star Council will be a part of that because the Star Councils have been a part of helping transitioning planets move into more calm space. So that's why I've been connected with Star Council for many lifetimes and many ambassadorialship missions that I've been on for the Mother and the Father. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So they're going to be, I'm talking third party. So if I change my words back and forth, it's because I'm speaking through them with them. And sometimes they're just channeling with me. That's just how I speak to spirit. But I'm recording, so you'll know. So we've called upon those aspects of those that have had the most experience in negotiating disintegrating programs. So they're showing it to me in what it looks like as energy. So again, it's like the so you know those things where you shake the sifts, I think they're called sifters, and they shake out the particles of the flour, and so that you can bake. So they're showing me the sifter. So there will be sifting of those energies and those things that are not going to be in vibrational resonance to go along for the ride, because everything is vibrational maturity and actual matching. And some energies just have to fall off because they haven't done enough clearing to go along for the next cycle, right? Everything is cyclical. So if you're doing your work every cycle, then you're going to continue to go for the ride. If you're not doing the work every cycle, then you're going to be shifted out to an earth where you continue those vibrational experiences, or however your soul chooses. It's up to you and God. Only the soul and God choose those transitions, those exits or entries. You and God, that's it. That's it. God knows God's plan. God is the designer, the writer of the plan. The mother comes in as the birther of that plan. But it's only that soul and God that choose when you enter and when you exit. Only you and God. No other person has authority over that. Nobody does. And that's why there's deep karma for anybody that thinks they play that. You don't play that role on anybody's life. You don't. And I pray for you if you think you do. And again, humble yourself. And again, that is the misogyny and that is the oligarchy on our planet that absolutely needs to be healed. It has to be faced. The arrogance and the depths of red tape and rhetoric and corruption that have occurred. Okay, so what were you saying about that? Yes, so they've chosen specific ones too. So they're showing me little game, like little chess, to negotiate certain vibrational situations. So they've brought me forward to be placed in certain energies of collective density so that I can break up with light and with knowing and with my focus. I break up those masses of cancer, if you will, and I help bring awareness and light to those cancerous pods, because that's what it is. It's a cancerous pod. It is how the devil, the separation, those dark entities have gotten into and create cancer in between the collectives through feeding of corruption, through feeding of gluttony, through feeding of jealousy, through feeding of envy. And that's how those cults and groups work. That's how gangs are affiliated. That's how the underground keeps its cycle of cancer. It feeds off cancer, cancer feeding cancer. So I'm brought in, light workers are brought in like little pieces of chess. They're given their protection and they focus on that area of darkness and they break it up. We then learn through the transmutation process. They're showing it to me in an alchemic equation, the actual particles of science. The particles that are being sifted out and the particles that remain based on its vibrational resonance. If they've done purity, or God is the only one that chooses, God is the only one that knows the purity of heart of anyone that stays in that sifting bowl. Because God will know their purity of intent to change, their purity of intent to heal. Because if you don't have a purity of intent to heal, you're not going to change. Anything that you want healed and to change, you have to have that purity of heart. If that purity of heart does not tell the brain, yes, the mind can expand, the mind can grow, the mind can go to external infinite possibilities, that is the God mind. But your purity of heart changes and alchemizes that God mind. For you to understand higher vibrational codes, you have to have the connection of the God mind. And that's where some will be very, very steeped. And again, it's all perfect. We don't have to worry because everybody will be perfectly where their souls are meant to be. Every soul is meant to be exactly where they are for what they signed on for. Every day you have potential to pull out those beliefs that are limiting, to release them and reconcile with it so you can be expansive. We're going from limitation to expansive. We're going from limited to infinite. We're going from going into nothingness to degrading our bodies and degrading everybody else to going into we're going to respect everybody and love is oneness. Because it is. We're just returning to oneness. We just momentarily forgot that we were. We took on separative beliefs, separative dogmas, separative institutions, separate this, separate that, and then we gave power to leaders that wanted to perpetuate that through fear and through control. It's not who we really are. We're far beyond that. And so the particles of that experience, there will be particles that are not in vibrational match to be a part of that baking, to be a part of the cooking, right? Some spices just don't go in some meals, right? Not all spices are going to be thrown into a blueberry cake or blueberry pie, right? So that's part of the equation too. It's all going to be vibrational. It's all vibrational. It's all perfect. Only the person and the soul itself, because the soul, God knows what's coming next for that soul. What did that person get through in their soul's life? That lifetime, however, until that soul transitions, this is what I love about soul blueprints. It's just so crazy. However long that soul was there, this is the bandwidth, right? From beginning of life to the end of life, wherever they choose to transfer out. Because remember, some of us can transfer timelines, and we're jumping timelines. We're not on the same timeline of anybody that is before us. We have a conscious moment where we're connecting with that person, friends, but we're not on that same timeline. So you have to understand what time and what energy is really about. What is consciousness about? Your energy and consciousness can be there, but they're not really there. Like Jesus is still walking today on certain timelines. That's why when there has been timelines trying to be put place where Jesus was, there's a lot of discrepancies between his timelines because he's all over the place. There are timelines where he's still walking around. The Mandela effect. There's still timelines where certain people that were, like John F. Kennedy. There's timelines where that it was shown that he's not here. There's timelines where he's actually here. So again, it all depends on your consciousness level and what that soul chose at that moment and what the collective chose to take on. Did the collective choose to take that on as assassination? There was corruption in that. It was absolutely an underground corruption. So what did we learn from that? And what did we heal from that? What did we do better on that? So things will come back until the collective understands, no, it's a collective choice to release all corruption. It has to. Because good people that want to do good in the world and good people that absolutely are brought to bring change, that can bring change, that can do immediate healing to many, to thousands, to millions, absolutely need to be heard. Where's the corruption and whose choice is it to give somebody's channel a fucking shadow banning? Who is that? Who chooses that? Who chose that? God wants to talk to them, and we'll see you in court. So the seen and the unseen world is God. Who do you think is going to win in court? Bring your best lawyers. Bring the biggest names. Bring the deepest pockets, God said. That's a domino effect. All of them. Because God knows exactly who's going to come to the bench. God knows exactly the deeds and the thoughts and the words and the actions done and taken by each and every one of them. God says, bring them all. Bring every single lawyer you got. The biggest names that you've got, because God knows who's who and who's doing what behind closed doors. Bring them. And then you know what God will do? God will place them and have me go against them. And they'll look at me, oh, a divine feminine? Really? What a joke. They've been laughing at me for years. She's just a light worker. Watch us really put her through the ropes. And God said, bring it. You have no idea who she is. You have no idea the galaxies that I've created with God. So God says, see you in court. Biggest lawyers. God knows who's done what. And God will at any moment make every lawyer come forward in their own truth, and they will be seen for exactly who they are, and their reputations and their deep pockets, and all that they thought they were hiding, and all that they thought that they were paying off to silence, and all that they thought that these cases were going under the wayside and being swept under the carpet. They're not gonna. God knows what God's doing. God's got hands in everything, because God is. God is the voice of every person that is speaking. God is the heart of every person speaking. And God will make happen what God needs to make happen to make the story fit. Because there will be no more corruption. So God will make an example out of anybody and everybody. So all you have to do is just focus on loving you, speaking your truth, standing in your story, and just following in love and light. There's great promise here. Why would we want anything different? We have, and we will be seeing the harms and the damage and the destruction done by those that do black magic and voodoo. And it's being returned, and there will be many that will go through psychosis, psychotic breaks. They will have mental instability. They will have diseases in their sexual organs and their sexual centers, and their chakras will be shut right down. that's the ramifications of what we talked about earlier, that people have to become aware of. We are multidimensional beings. We can no longer treat our Christed bodies the way that we have been treating them. And we certainly have no rights to pull these children into a lifelong experience of harm and damage and self-hate, self-harm, the psychosis that the children have to go through to heal their bodies when they're being put in sexual rings that they had no right being in. What kind of adults and parents are we to allow this to occur? Where the children are being taken and used as sex toys for the ones that absolutely know they could be using that money to go and heal, rather than harming and having those imprints of degradation and darkness imprinted on a child's soul, which creates the cancerous soul of the collective. And I'm here to break up that cancer. So I won't silence and I won't stand down. Idiot voodoo people. You deserve to sit down for a while and take a knee, because God will place you there. You don't deserve to have the gifts and the skills that you have and the harm that have been done to innocent children because of your arrogance. You don't have that right, and I'm calling you on it. We are 4D now, and it's universal laws. Right use of free will and non-interference. You interfere, immediate karma, period. You do voodoo on somebody, immediate karma, period. There's no reason to do spell work unless you're doing healing to the planet and healing to your own body, with your teams and with your guides and your higher self guides. No need to do spell work for abundance. You will receive. Why would you want to do spell work to force somebody to be in your space? How is that genuine? How is that authentic? How is that a soul partner? I'm going to make you be a soul partner? I'm going to force you to be a soul partner? Okay, well, you're going to get that equal person that's going to force you to be their soul partner, because that's your vibrational match. God would never allow an earth angel to be with somebody in that vibration, nor would an earth angel choose that. It's dominance, it's arrogance, it's stupidity. It's not knowing energy. It's not being healed. So go heal. Hopping from bed to bed to bed to find out what you're gonna be fixed in and how you're gonna be healed, that's not finding a soulmate. That's selling yourself. Take ownership of who you are and heal your life. Heal your body. Heal your emotions. Heal your sexuality. Heal who you are. Heal your wounding. Nobody before you will fix you. Nobody before you will take on your karma. Nobody before you will take on your burdens, because you've chosen very, very poor choices. And I'm talking to those from the past, if they are listening. You have to fix your choices by healing who you are. And God will show you each and every step of the way, but you have to choose God or not. It's always free will, and God will allow it. But God will not allow any more harm to me or taking of me. Nobody has that right. Nobody will touch my consciousness. Nobody will force me to be in their bed, ever. And why I chose to be celibate for 14 years. Nobody shall touch me. Nobody's going to come before me and think they're going to put a proposal in a shiny little ring, and I'm just going to do what they think, the collective thinks that every woman wants. Oh, a shiny little ring. Oh, ho, ho, I'm your side piece. I'm now your whore now. I'm now your person. No, I'm not your person. I walk with God, period. That's my marriage. I'm never getting married again, ever. And I will be placed in a loving experience how God chooses. There will be no marriage. I don't need one. I know exactly who I am and what I want. And it's not a 3D unhealed person. Everybody's got to get healed. I went through enough torment for 100 lifetimes. I ain't going through no more. So go get yourselves fixed. Get yourself healed. Face who you are. That's courage. That's being brave. Standing on stage and talking about a beautiful story like Geddy Lee, when Geddy Lee was doing one of his book openings, I sent a little thing in our community board a couple of days ago about how courageous it was of him to sit and talk about the experience of his band partner Neil passing and the experiences that they went through together. And they're very humble and very integrous people. They're very down to earth, very highly integrous, devoted to their work and their passion, devoted to their work that they put out. So they must have spent thousands and thousands of hours just putting one album out. And you can tell the devotion they had to each other to do the very best work, and why I just love that band so much and their music. And he told the story, and throughout the conversation, because his book tour just started, so these are very new interviews with him. And he's a starseed, and he's always going to create. He's into his 60s now, and he's still creating. But you'll see the difference between like starseeds. They're very genuine. They're very authentic. And he was sitting there just openly expressing a story out of his everyday life about this experience that he had with Neil. And I was so proud because Scotty, that's always on these channels, we've talked about him sharing, and being a purveyor of the divine masculine's journey. And there Geddy Lee was on stage being a purveyor of that. And he had just brought this experience up, and he had started to get all emotional and verklempt. And he had some tears, and he was very emotionally moved. And that showed, and I was very grateful for that. And I said, it's very rare that we see a well-known successful person and continues to be successful, because he holds himself, with great honor to be an influence. He takes that with great pride. He's very, very integrous, and there's very little ego, and he's just naturally authentic and integrity within his being. And it was just an integrity moment of two men talking about the losses and the emotions and the navigations of his emotions and the stories that he had to navigate through Neil's illness, 3 years of secrecy and kind of things, and how there was a misunderstandings between them and before he passed. So he was reconciling. It was so beautiful. So go watch that video. I put it on the community board. It's very beautiful, for men to see each other go through that healing. It was very, very profound. And I know that there's so much great that's going to come from his beautiful, beautiful book tour, to show men that it's okay to go through healing. It's okay to be open and honoring of your story, and to know that you can be successful in sharing your emotional stories. So I was just really thrilled. I was very, very thrilled to see him. So please watch his videos about, I've got it posted on the community board. And it's just a very wonderful, that's what we're moving towards. So the 2024 will be a lot more of men coming forward to share their stories with men, and to see them navigating with each other through their traumas, through their abuses, and through their negotiations of loss, and through their negotiations of doing better with integrity. Not the old world 3D oligarchy, versions of arrogance. We're done with that. That's over. These are very integrous, emotionally captive, enrapturing experiences. And so that's what we're going to see more in 2024, where men are really coming to the forefront and showing the world that they can heal and navigate these extremities of emotions, these extremities of loss. And extremities of moving through life in very natural, normal human ways that have never been done before. And so I was very, very proud. I was so touched to feel and be a part of that visualizing of him moving through that, because we've been talking about it for more than a year now, for men to come forward and really start sharing their stories of human experience in very, tough situations. And so it was really great to see and to know and to be that. So there, it's on my community page. So just know, dear lighted ones, we've got so much great things that are coming. God loves, God is in everything. God is in all life. Just know that every time you're eating food, God. So intend your food with God. Intend your breath with God. Do your evening healing experiences. There's so much to be happy and excited about. There's so much to know that you have a lot of wiggle room here to create greatness. There's nothing that God will take away from anybody. If they have a pure of heart to make something right, God will make sure that the legions will be with them to make something right. That's how powerful God is. That's how profound God is. God is always with every single person, step in step, to help make this planet a loving place, a unified place. So make no mistake that God is in everything. If your desire and your aching, one of the things that God says to me all the time, because I am who I am. I can't say how different I am from other people, because I don't know other people. I'm only seeing energy. From the moment that I knew that I was in my awakening, there's been nonstop 24/7 thoughts of my assistance with humanity. Helping the children, helping the planet. I mean, that's nonstop. It's just who I am. I cycle my breath with being of purveyor and helping humanity with God. I'm married to God in that way. That's what I mean by married to God. It's a meshment. It's breathing in, breathing out. I'm assisting with God transmuting energy. I'm offering the radiance of who I am. And sometimes those stories are very raw. Sometimes those stories are frustrating. Sometimes those stories are point blank. They have to be. We can't beat around the bush anymore. There's no more sweeping things under the rug, and there is no more fence. There's no more playing both sides. It's either we're either on a journey of oneness, and those that choose not to be a journey of oneness will be shown their way out, because this journey will continue, and there's no punishment. The soul just has to learn the way the soul has to learn, and God and that person are the only ones that choose that. So just know that anybody that comes and goes from this planet is a divine plan, a divine soul blueprint with God. God chooses it all, because God knows exactly what's going on every dimension, on every planet, every role that being has. So they have to take certain exits. They have to take certain entries. What did you say there just a second ago? So they're just saying, just be satisfied with every moment, because every moment is perfect. So be satisfied with your role. Oh, yes. So I said, yeah. So I was just like, every moment, that's just how I am. So I don't know myself any different. That's just who I am. I walk as an offering to creation. That's my offering. And I'm learning to work with my powers and my energies, because I am a very powerful person. So every time I move on a new rung of energy, I have new gifts and skills that are open to me, and I'm learning new things that are exciting for me, because God also wants to please me that way. To know that I've got certain gifts that I really want to start practicing, and so God's going to open those up to me. But God is also going to help me with certain gifts that I don't even know about, that we don't even have words for. So I'm going to be saying, like, when you're in the live chat, your teams and your spirit guides are talking to me. I've got a huge crown chakra activation. So some of you are going to go through crown chakra activations. So if spirit gives me something to say, I'm going to say it, and whoever it's meant for, it's meant for, because that's just my spirit gifts opening up. It's not necessarily going to wait for a session. I'll just say what I have to say, because that's spirit speaking through me to you. Is there anything else, spirit? So anybody that's in the chat room right now and future now moments, if you just wanted to place your hand on your heart, and if there was a message that you wanted from your spirit teams, your guides, or your celestial teams, the mother, father, or angels, or ancestors, or any energies that you're connected with, this realm and any realm, that you want to bring a message through to, Holy Spirit, and I'll call upon Commander Ashtar, I'll call upon the councils of light and the Star Council, I'll call upon my higher self to be the gatekeeper to make sure the messages get through to me. Anybody that would like a message right now? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Okay, these are from the Dogon people. So anybody that has a connection with the Dogons, it's a very ancient group of peoples. We're going to be connecting with you in the weeks to come, because there's many information on the ancient histories for replacement of energy systems. We're very specialized in our use of energy and how we use energy. And they were very unique specialists on the planet on how to work with the energies of the planet. And we will be working with many of you that so desire to seek within your higher self any specialties that you'd like to work. They're saying, because those of you that also that if you've attended my classes, I offer a portion of my class always has to do with Gaia energy. How to work with Gaia, how to communicate with Gaia, how to use the Gaia energy for the highest benevolence, because we are Gaia. Part of your ascension is Gaia. There's no getting around that. You can't leave Gaia out. And so the Dogons are coming through. There's 2 specific people in the group right now that we're speaking to that are specifically connected to the Dogons. So you'll just know, like, wow, I didn't. So if you go and look up the Dogons, shamanic history of Dogons, usually pull up better information if you go shamanic. And those that know more, those that are truly knowing it, not just copying it. So you just connect with the Dogons, and you'll just know. You'll feel that excitement in your solar plexus. That's how you know. Or you'll just have that click. It feels like a click. I'll be teaching classes in the new year about your psychic knowingness and your deepening with your guides. When you have a click, you'll usually feel it in your psychic field, and it's a click. It's just like a little cog that just got clicked in. That's how you know you've had an activation. There's lots of downloads in your fields, but you have to unpack it. And when you unpack it, you'll feel that click. Oh, I get that. I get why I went through that. I get why I experienced that. I get why I had to go through that 10 times. I get why I went through that. I get why God put me through that. That's that click. That's how you know you're a master, because you're now seeing everything from all the perspectives on why it had to happen the way it did. Because God's showing you, wow, you are a master. You can go from here to here to here. That's kind of like timeline jumping, because now you're seeing how every now moment, even though it's now, you had to experience it in the way that you did, even though it might have been a longer route. Like they said, there's things that have been said to me. Oh, it took you so long to get on your pedestal, your chair, Joanna. And God said it wouldn't have been any other way. Why rush? Why rush magnificence? Why rush genius? If I didn't take those detours into the hell, I wouldn't have been able to teach what I know now about the psyche, about psychology. I'm going to be a part of helping rewrite psychiatry. I'm going to be a part of helping rewrite what we know about multidimensional healing. I'm going to be a part of that. I wouldn't be able to claim anything if I didn't go through what I went through and got up every day. Getting up every day is important. So make no small task about getting up every day. I know some of you have come to me for many years as clients. Getting up every day is your blessing. Because some of you have had really tough lives. And I've been there with you in the healing of it. Get up every day. That's your celebration. You exalt that. Yes. Thank you, God. I'm up today. Right? You can do it. And I've had times where some of my clients have emailed me and they haven't been with me for years, and they'll email me something and they'll just need that recognition and that showing of the Christ light once again, and then they're okay for another couple months. So just know how profound your path is and how important it is that you get up and you keep trying and you keep navigating, because you have no idea when that clicks, you're going to say, wow, I get it. That final piece of the puzzle, it's all fitting together. And that alignment of you is pure and sacred, as it always was. But now you're seeing it from that more awakened space, that more softened place, that more compassionate place, that you actually took yourself through something that nobody else would go through. They showed me something and I still haven't processed it all yet, because I'm still processing so much. Like they said to me yesterday, they said, Joanna, just relax and have fun. You want to have fun in this journey. You're supposed to be having fun right now. And I'm going, oh my God, I've just processed like the downloads I've had to process about what the hell's happened over the past 10 years. I don't have words. It's like, what do I make out of that? Right? I have to process that stuff. I have to process the hate of people. I have to process that, because I was the target of it. I was the one absorbing it and transmuting it. Like, what the hell? Right? I have to process that. And it makes me really sad. Like, how can people be like that? Like, that's a lot of wounding that those people carry. Why is it's not necessary? And then I talk to Spirit. How can we change that? How can we walk in different skin? How can we walk in different ways? And the children that are being abused, how is that going to look in 10 years' time? So all of these things are stuff I process. That's me as a healer, 24/7. So no, I don't go out to bars. And so God said, well, you wouldn't have done it any other way. And it's perfect timing, because the timelines right now are different than the timelines they were 5 years ago. Because so much has happened and so much has been brought out just in our work. Nobody would have taken on, very few people would have taken on what I took on. They wouldn't have had the capacity to take on the energy and understand it, and then transmute it, and then teach about it. We're learning a lot about the misuse and abuse of energy. We're learning a lot about the human testing, how a human body can be healed, transmuted to be reclaimed into the Holy Christ. Of all of the demolition, the demolition and the dominance of the fear programs and the hurting programs, and what the whole dark web is all about. I mean, how is that even a thing? And that's a cesspool of what the wounding of humanity feeds into. That's the middle realm, and then there's a lower realm. And that lower realm feeds on all the dark entities. So all the pornography and the black web, all the black web is feeding into the wounding of humanity. And it's $1 billion business. Why is that a thing? Why can't people just face who they are and heal it? Why can't all those billions of dollars be brought back up to the middle realm and start healing centers, healing experiences? Why can't my channel be shared to the billions of the people on this planet? Do you see what I'm saying? Now are you seeing that there is blatant and obvious discrimination? Are you seeing this now, dear lighted ones? This is only one corner of the world. So we're creating templates where we're going to be shifting the monies from the underground to heal, where the people and of the elites are going to be sharing their monies with the have-nots, and we're going to do what is right. That is the divine plan. And God writes that plan, and it will go through. And as God said, we'll see you in court. Anybody that tests him, test God and see what happens. We'll take everybody to court. And I'm doing research, and I'm doing my studies, and I'm going to know the law. So bring it. And God knows everybody. God knows everything that every person has ever done. God knows it. And anybody that tries to play God and play God on God, God will pull everyone out on purpose. And God will be showing everybody to everybody. Because what seems to have mattered most to these people is their reputations. They seem to go to great lengths to pay and hire people to hide the things that they've been doing and to make their cases and their court cases and their wrongdoings go away and blame it on the innocent and charge the innocent and make false claims on the innocent. So God will make sure that every one of these people will be shown and pulled out. Or if they choose to, God is saying there is also grace in every moment. If those choose to alter their course and do what is right, then they will know what is right. And if they choose to continue to be arrogant and think they're going to stick it to God and continue the false claims and the false crap and the false human testing and the false this and the false that, they will see themselves hung upside down with, with one of those candy necklaces. However God wants it. But everybody has grace. If you want to alter course, you can choose to pure heart and, pure heart will get you the altered course. If it's not pure of heart and you're just going to, run with your tail between your legs, you got to have pure heart. Pure heart that you want to make things right. Pure heart you want to help change the systems. Pure heart because you did the parts wrong, you want to make them part right. That's being an honorable human. Yeah, I'm a part of this oneness ride. How can I help? It's time to get out of kindergarten now, dear lighted ones. It's time to get mature. Spiritual maturity is being called. 2024 will be this. And everybody's going to play a part. And it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. Yay! And God will bless everybody tenfold because that is God. God is so generous. The love of God is everything. The love of God is in the flower that smells beautiful. The love of God is that beautiful breeze that comes through your house on cleaning day. God is that being that supports your child when there's black magic in the house and that child would have got whacked with a demon, but they didn't. That's God. I know God. Who are you? What do you know? What do you know God to be? Redefine it, reawaken it, seek it, be it, love of it, smile, create laughter, create joy, create goodwill, create promise. Those are godly things. And when you can make it right, make it right. And ask others to make it right, because I know some of you are here and some of you are very wounded. And it's okay for you to ask others to make it right. And then if they choose not to, then you can know that it's a final closing of that story, of that chapter. So do that before Christmas so you can enjoy the Christmas holidays, right? And do it in a very loving and respectful way. Just say, I want to have this session where we come over and everybody just gets to express themselves. These are the intentions. These are the standards. And these are the rules of engagement so that everybody knows the rules and everybody knows the reasons. And you give your family lineage to clear the way. This is for a clear and a loving 2024. We want to clear some energies. We want to release 2023 because, boy, it was a real crap show, most of it. Of a lot of energies wanting to play, pull and tag and push and tag and petty, immature. And that needs to be cleared before the new year. So set out a time where your families can gather and everybody sits with their freedom of expression and everybody gets to be fully who they are. And remember that after you go away and you give yourself a day to process and integrate what's been said and you get to return within, how does this feel for me? How do I want to move about? What relationships do I want to continue? What relationships are purposeful? Remember your purposefulness, and then you get to more clearly design 2024 that's purposeful for you. Because you have to be nourished. And don't let anybody think you not being nourished is not a thing. That's a narcissistic old 3D way. Those are all being let go. No, Divine feminine need to be nourished, and we are important, and we are valued, and we're stepping up. So step aside. Move or be moved. This planet will be healed, and everything is going to be pulled up. That's the new way. It just is. How do you like it now? Too funny. I love my guides. My guides rock. Okay, any messages, Spirit? We went into that one Dogon. Was there anything else for anybody? Sorry, I was going to do messages and the whole Dogon thing threw me off. I haven't heard the Dogons in like forever. Gosh, it's been years since I heard about the Dogons. I might have to look into them. Okay, any messages, Spirit? Lots of activation is going to happen this weekend, so just be okay with it. Just spend lots of time in nature, lots of water, lots of third eye activation, so you might feel a bit nasally, a bit, you're like I've had a nasal drain because they're activating a lot of third eye stuff and a lot of crown chakra stuff. So I've had a bit of a nasal thing this week. And of course the throat chakra, right? So sing your joy, sing your joy, sing your joy. Then you need to find new family, Cluedo. If they won't see you, then you can find a new family. Send them a Christmas card anyway. Say love and peace. By the way, I've got a new family. Oh, too funny. Okay, was there any other messages? Sometimes you have to just find new family. You just do. And God will absolutely celebrate you in doing so. You're never ever meant to stay with people that put you down and bring harm to you. That's not family. It just isn't. So we have to redefine with the whole prefrontal cortex, values and morals. No, that's not okay. Abuse of any life is not okay. Have that as a standard. Emotional abuse, mental abuse, false claims, defaming people, that's not okay. Trying to hide money from people that's actually their money, stealing people's business that's their business is not okay. Shadow banning people that have the right to be expressed is not okay. These are basic human rights. Basic human rights. Look up human rights. You have a spiritual right to express yourself spiritually as you so wish, without interference or harm to none. That's a basic right. And we have dropped the ball on so many levels. Across Canada right now, there are 367,000 human rights court cases. That's a lot on human rights. And again, all we have to do is align with universal laws. We're going to be, again, rewriting a lot of our laws. Because we've kind of gone a little bit overboard on certain things where, the laws are kind of, they're kind of making themselves corrupt. Because they weren't made with integrity. The intention of them were not made with integrity. They were made to benefit the companies, the big companies. I had to, how many times did I have to come forward with my story before I got heard? Why is that a thing? Why is saying don't do the spell work once not enough? They didn't believe in God that there would ever be retribution. They didn't believe that there would be return. They didn't believe there would be consequences. They just wanted what they wanted. All realms, all dimensions, they're now, their aspects of the higher selves and their ancestors are now coming down and saying, no, this has to be made right. You cannot destroy this. You cannot do this to this girl. This is God's daughter. I'm a chosen one. I work for the heavens. I work for the ancestors. I work for Gaia. I work for nature. I work for the water. I work for the air. I walk with the legions of light. I walk with the celestial councils. I walk with the star councils. I walk the beings that don't even have names. I'm in what's called a no fuck space. Can't fuck with me. And my ancestors are waiting by. Wish you would. That's how it is now because people are just so arrogant. They didn't want to respect my name and myself and my being and my energy and my light. It is what it is. You choose your choices. I've said everything I have to say a billion jillion times. I deserve to be heard. I deserve the respect of my money's being returned to me because I've earned them, and I've been absolutely gone through enough that I deserve return. I deserve to receive. This is my lifetime. I will receive, and I will be loved, and I will find a beautiful, sacred partner that will love me and have me as sacred and would never, ever do a spell on me, ever. That's the soulmate I'm waiting for. I want a soulmate that would never, ever do spell work and put family at harm. That's the soulmate I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a soulmate that absolutely walks with God so that we can pray together and earn together and love together. That's the soulmate I'm looking for. Somebody that's already done the healing, that knows who they are and won't crack. I want somebody that's not wishy-washy. I want somebody that absolutely knows who they are to the core of their very being. And when they walk in the room, it's a presence of their core, not a manipulation of energy and falseness. There's a difference, and I can sense it. So I know who I am now, and I know what I want. And it ain't nobody from the past. Nobody from the past will re-enter my life, period. The cycles are closed and done. Everybody's been given enough time to make things right, to repay me, to give back what's mine. So now God will do whatever God needs to do. That's in God's hands. Right? It is what it is. Everybody made their choices. And so, dear lighted ones, be of great, great joy. Right? Great joy. Do your closing of your contracts for 2023. All your 3D contract, close them out. Right? Have your ceremonies with the Karma Board, have your ceremonies with Mother, Father, God, close out those contracts with those that have not been nourishing you, and then look forward to, again, defining the contracts and the soul engagements that you want for 2024. Those that are equally respectful, equally honorable. What are the vibrations you want to experience for 2024? Right? Be specific with God on what you're calling in. And then know too, when you're stepping up on that new level, you're going to be an equal, as we all are, equal soul cycles to be tested on in whatever way you need to be tested, right? Because you want to level up too. You want to be tested on how to communicate more purely with Source. More, you want to learn how to do psychic writing, right? So all of those things, put that in your 2024 designing, self-design, right? All aspects, because you're a multidimensional soul. You want to expand yourself on a multidimensional focus, right? So yeah, put that in. Work with crystals, work with Gaia. Love Gaia. Gaia loves you so much, and she's so healing. And so we're going to sign off, dear little ones. If you want, we do have $50 off on all of our sessions if you book before the end of November. And so that is going right now. All you have to do is send the payment to PayPal, and then I send you a link. I send you email with dates and times, and they're all done by Face and Zoom. I do everything by Face and Zoom, so it's facial recognition. None of my sessions are done any other way. And so again, nobody has the right to use my stuff, my videos, my illustrations. If you are a healer and a teacher and you refer to my stuff, absolutely, then just mention my videos, because that's just equal opportunity to share resources, and that should be done, right? Because you're just saying, you know, in a class this weekend, in a video this weekend, go see her videos. This is what we took away from it. Then mention my name, because that's just equal referring in oneness, right? And then go watch that Getty Lee video. It's very inspiring for men that are going through healing. So I really love that video. So he's a great, great role model. He is a starseed. So he is a starseed, and he's done huge amounts for the human collective, and that's why he has such a following. He has a following that's like a cult kind of thing, because he's very genuine. His energy is very, very genuine. You can tell he's a starseed. He'll always create. He's just done a book, and then he did a TV series. He's just very down to earth. He offers who he is very genuinely. So he's a great role model for men. So yeah, go watch his videos. They're really great. So dear lighted ones, the donation tab is below on all of our videos. Our PayPal link is in our community board. And then our classes are once a month if you want to join us on those ones. I usually give those for offerings to those that have been on the path for a while, because they are advanced classes. We go very fast, and it is a 3-hour packed class of much codes and activations, and we go through a lot in those 3-hour classes. And so those of you that have got, and those of you that were on the class, make sure you download the link, because I think it disappears. I think it's only active for 4 days or something, so make sure you download that link. And yeah, so we'll talk to you soon, dear light ones. Go play this weekend. Bye, bye, bye.